Okay,
great.
so we are live. How's everybody doing?
Doing well. How are you, Wythe?
Excellent. Just shipping up a storm, and that's mostly it. Also doing Kadita, making a book that we're about to announce.
Yeah.
I guess this can be an official announcement. We're going to announce very soon. We'll be live on Kickstarter, so people can back that book, and do some espionage.
Last time I played this character, it was on Kadita. It was a fun time.
There you go. All right. So, and I guess the other thing we're doing is I am at least was listening to Float City 2.0, which
I listened this morning. It was very good.
Nice. So with no spoilers, but
no spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't yet, but what I usually do is I wait until it's nighttime and then I listen to it.
That makes sense.
Hell yeah.
So let me just check. I just want to make sure we're actually on the Twitch and we can be seen. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Looks like it's streaming now. Okay. So we are waiting on one player, but if you were watching, we are going to be playing a one-off by the amazing Tony Grasso, who's an illustrator and game designer with whom we've worked on the core rulebook and with whom we're working on the Refactors Handbook. So thanks everyone for joining, and I think we should do some quick intros. And here is a wall of green energy.
Hello.
Hey, Wes. Oh.
No.
He was there. So yeah, why don't we do? We'll just go around to intros. Hopefully, Wes can join. Chris, do you want to kick it off? Oh, you're muted.
Trying to avoid traffic noise, and I muted myself. Yes, I am Chris. He, him. I have been playing role-playing games for a very long time now. Most actively since the pandemic. Love all manner of games. This is actually my very, very first time playing Stillfleet.
Oh, fantastic.
But back to the Kickstarter, was super excited to have a chance to actually play it. Fan of a number of similar games. I've run a number of Mothership one-shots. Looking forward to the final release of You're in Space and Everything is Effed. And yeah, glad to be here.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks. I'm glad. Thank you for backing us, and thanks for checking out the game. Weston, are you able to hear us, and can we hear you?
I can hear you guys.
Okay.
I'm trying to sort out the camera. Something just went to crap.
Totally cool. You could even upload like a fun picture. No worries. Oh, and we've lost it. Sarah, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Sarah. I use she, her pronouns. I will be playing a character that also uses she, her pronouns. Pistilla. She's a boisterous cactus lady, and I love her. And she's also the banshee of the party. And yeah, I mean, like, I joined the Stillfleet Discord as soon as I heard Float City for the first time. And Stillfleet just really feeds my world building brain, and so I'm always happy to play a game. I've played a bunch of different Stillfleet one-offs. Happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks. Happy to have you. Ryan, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan is my name. He, him. And yeah, similar boat to Sarah. I joined the Stillfleet Discord as soon as I was made aware of Stillfleet via Fun City or Float City. And we played a lot of one-shots, but also an ongoing campaign GM'd by Wythe. The party animals. If you're in the Stillfleet Discord, you might see those channels somewhere lurking. And yeah, I just love it. Just very evocative in so many different ways. I'm very excited to get my hands on the physical core rulebook finally. So
I think you have more than one copy.
yeah, there was a 3 copies, reward tier, and I was like, well, if I can't convince anyone in my friend group here to buy it, I'll buy it for them.
That's very nice. You're a very thoughtful friend.
Thanks. It's all bullying, though. I'm bullying them into playing with me.
It's a big book, so yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, when they see it, they're like, "Wow, that's just an interesting object to interact with." So, with that, we should probably get going. We have another player, but I think there's some mic difficulties, and or Wi-Fi difficulties, what have you. So I'm not sure when or if Weston will be able to join, but I guess Weston's character is like maybe with your party, maybe they're in like a quantum state. So sometimes they're with your party and have been all along, and sometimes you don't know who they are and they don't exist. So I think we'll just roll with it if everyone's cool and dive in.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right, so welcome to Ammu times Stillfleet. So today we're going to be doing a one-off, and you all have characters which will give you a chance to introduce in scene. For sort of speed, I'm going to say you're already a group that for whatever reason you can establish as you like, works together, you know each other, you somehow are in the same room. And that is a room blob on Spindle, the alien station made of black stone. Here's Weston. We're just diving in. I'll give you a chance to introduce yourself in a moment. And you all find yourselves in front of the enormous desk of acting commander director Pethin of the Night Watch, who is essentially the closest thing there is to like a field marshal, like a general in charge of defending the alien space station that the worshipful company of Stillfleeters calls home from existential threats, broadly defined. And also, Pethin's an odd character because while she is really a stillrijder, a space marine at heart, she's also sort of famously apolitical in the sense that the existential threats she focuses on do not tend to be, with the major exception of the planet Kadita, about sort of humans and wetans and other sapients, but they tend to be about sort of enormous space monsters, for lack of a better word. So that is the nature. That latter class is the nature of the threat you have been called in to sign a venture contract for today. And at this point, before Pethin introduces herself, Weston, why don't you introduce yourself and kick off? Who's your character? Who's in the room? So just keep it quick. But what do you look like?
Hi, I'm Weston. I'm playing in his native tongue, or lower, as the fleeters might call he or them. This is a short raccoon person in a, well, it's a exosuit, but it looks very patched together from like pieces that don't seem like they belong on the body part that they're on. It's essentially a larger person's exosuit that has been kind of taken apart and put back together to fit on a smaller raccoon person, with some patchwork bits of like wooden pulleys and rope to keep things in place and keep things hinged together properly, which the craft work on that looks pretty good.
Why don't you popcorn to the next voidminer? And I love that image. It's like a little kid wearing adult like sporting equipment. So I'm imagining like really big shoulders and like knee pads, but of like indestructible Sarah steel. Does someone want to jump in for who else is in the room here?
Sure, I'll jump in next. Heavy Kelp Director is a very thin wetan, thin even for a wetan, with sort of like super slow-mo writhing worms of orange like highlights amongst their chitin. Very serene and perhaps distant expression for those of you who can read wetan expressions. They are a snakehead. We'll see eventually.
Chris, or Sarah, you wanna jump in?
Yeah, I can. So, Pistilla Oucherzz, she is, like I said, she's an enjan. She is kind of like this. She's on the taller side of enjan. She's kind of like this young woman. She kind of like is this cactus lady that has like these like four pointy arms and like just like she has this normal set of arms and then like a smaller set of arms under that, and her head is this kind of like, I believe it's called a moon cactus, but it's this hot pink cactus blossom for a head. And yeah, basically thorny green, everything else, two sets of arms. Yes. Bright red bandana around her neck, holographic cyan pilot's vest, loud neon orange cargo shorts with one of those extreme silvery chain get-ups, yellow crop tank, attitude through the fucking roof. Oh, also we decided last time I played her that she is wearing black Croc Martens. She did not come here to mess around.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Doc Mercuses in universe, I believe, is how they're referred to now.
Oh, that's great. I love that. Yeah, Doc Mercuses. I'm gonna edit my character sheet. Oh, they're Croc Martens. That's Croc Mercuses. That's an.
Oh, they're like Crocs and Doc Martens, but the kind that Mercus and Eldar would like. Yeah, this is great.
Yes.
This is important stuff.
I need to check with Jen de la Vega about this.
The necessary part of world building.
So, Chris, tell us about M.
Okay. Emergent Behavior in Systems of Systems, or M, is a shoodtha peer. Most easily described as what it would look like if you took an enormous quantity of sheet metal and pressed it down with the pressure needed to make a diamond into a block, and then sculpted it into the form of like a J.C. Penney mannequin. No features, just a head shape. Wearing a modified envirosuit combination with a leather old-timey barber's outfit. So, the dentist. Like think of the dentist from Little Shop of Horrors, except in leather. And then on their back is an extraordinarily long Japanese style sword.
As all dentists
Yeah, of course. As one does.
That's great. So, very typical group of void miners who work for the Worshipful Company, maybe in various states of political awakening or devolution, as it were. And for whatever reason, you found yourselves here in the middle of your career in the office of this relatively important figure. So behind the desk, there's a huge wooden desk. Real wood is very rare. Almost everything is compressed mycelium planks. And this carved tree wood from Terra or Kaliat or some such planet. Is sitting a 5 foot tall, sort of jiggly pink jello like basically axolotl shaped, salamander shaped humanoid called a Gelasti. And she is in full military regalia, so not in an exosuit because you wouldn't wear that in your own office, but in the equivalent, if you imagine like Napoleonic kind of armor with just some sort of tight early modern fit that has just tons of medals and epaulets. She's just dripping with bling, and she has, in addition to feathery reproductive organs that the Gelasti have around her neck, this kind of enormous Napoleonic crown. And she's sort of looking at each of you in turn and just gauging your capabilities mentally. And then finally stands, and so is still shorter than most of you behind her desk, but sort of seems very imposing, straight-backed, and says, You're probably wondering why I've summoned you here today. The reason is there is a threat that needs immediate attention, and you are all available according to Directorate records. Is this true?
That is
Wonderful.
Yeah, definitely.
She just ignores you and keeps going. The nature of the threat is such that I need a team versed in unknown fields, but certainly violence may not be out of the question, I'm sorry to say. You're here in the offices of the Night Watch because there is a threat that is very large in scale. However, the threat that is immediate may be relatively minor. I don't actually know. We just had a report in, and I'd like to head it off at the pass, nip it in the bud, etc., etc. So instead of being wonderfully vague, I'll just show you, and this is rather important to me since it's my home world we're talking about. In theory, I mean, I've spent most of my life behind this desk, as you know. On Darasan, the cool major province, one of the stalwarts of the company, one might say the loyalist province of the company, there has been a report of something disrupting the, let's say, fragile agricultural balance of that world. As you know, Darasan is incompletely terraformed, and therefore there's only so much arable land that can grow food for the humans, and Gelasti is the originary planet of our people who dwell there. Therefore, it is inconvenient, to say the least, that a large number of dangerous, or what can only be described as maggot-like organisms that seem to give rise to what can be described as many-eyed, human-sized fly-like organisms with very sharp claws, are essentially taking over field after field, hectare after hectare. And this must, of course, be stopped. It may have something to do with an intrusion of an ecosystem into Darasan that should not be there. And we would ask, or rather I would command, of course you could just choose to face rebranding and whatever judgment the directorate is valid, but I would ask that you take on the role of fact finder and explore the nature of the problem here. Does that sound amenable or interesting?
It definitely sounds interesting.
Wonderful. The archivists, by the way, are calling it a transdimensional postmortem ecosystem. It has also been called a mountain-sized, sort of irregular blob wall of slime, roughly yellow, brownish, greenish, sort of sitting in the middle of the great fields of red wheat called Gresht that has grown on that planet, my home planet, many, many years ago.
I understand green and yellow.
Well, good. That's a start. So, if you feel militarily capable to defeat unknown transdimensional horrors, then I will give you a tac map, which you probably don't need. Which of you is a banshee? Or
That would be me.
Yes. And your name is you're Oucherzz, correct?
That's me.
Voidminer
Yeah. Pistilla Oucherzz at your service.
Traditional enjan name. You should be able to get to Darasan no problem. Of course, instead of going the typical way through the stiffworks beneath the palace of Queen Skatha in Ulfine, there is a faster route, which I can also give you a tac map to, which is closer to the agricultural region of interest. It will, of course, put you into a hulk that is quite dangerous, crashed on Darasan unknown thousands of years ago. But we may feel confident that you will quickly reach the transdimensional postmortem ecosystem in question, if that's of interest to you.
Well, I mean, like,
Lower
whatever
perked
way
up
we
at
get
Hulk.
there, we definitely will arrive there pretty swiftly, I think. What do any of you have a preference? I'm pretty much down for whatever.
Yeah, lower perked up when Hulk was mentioned because that means good stuff.
You can think of the giant gelatinous wall of dead flesh as a sort of hulk. Or not. It really doesn't matter. You should go either way, but... And for reference, this is a map of Darasan, and the being is somewhere near the Brabbling Zay, which is near Thiendau, the Great Ruins, which is a spaceship hundreds of kilometers long that crashed into the planet long ago and is now a mountain of bronze. So it's like hundreds of meters tall, just technical artifact, sitting in the middle of the heartland of where all of the food that can be eaten is grown on this cool, half-terraformed planet.
Sounds rad.
She's proposing to send you through there. Mechanically, this is not the venture, so I will say if you take the fast option, you will potentially lose health and grit, but there won't be as many dangerous things when you reach the ecosystem. If you take the slow option and tack here, you will not lose health and grit, but you will, when you arrive, there will be more dangerous things. So that is the trade-off.
I think lower just by desire wants to go to the Hulk, but that's not practical necessarily. It's not necessarily good judgment.
Well, I'll give you exactly 30 seconds to decide. Please talk amongst yourselves in a leisurely fashion, but then decide.
Heavy Kelp Director pipes up. I would like to get this over with. Perhaps we tack to the nearest.
2 for the Hulk.
I find the idea of a dangerous ancient Hulk quite exciting.
Look, I think that we're armed.
All right,
well
I guess
enough.
that's 4 for the Hulk.
We seem to be in agreement.
Excellent. Therefore, I will not bother with the ordinary tack map, which again you probably don't need to get to Queen Scotha's palace. And instead, and she pulls from a desk from an enormous stack of papers, a little green, mint-colored algae paper slip that has a bunch of numbers on it, which you can imagine as some sort of quantum mechanical formula that will allow you, when you know it and you were near the Stiffworks in Spindle, the Malkovich tunnel, to open it and enter some sort of pinch in time space, on the other side of which will be this vast, ruined, essentially spaceship. So, are you all, if you're all ready to depart, then I recommend you proceed post-haste, since Spindle's temporality is synced with the provinces. Every moment you waste, the famine grows more likely. Do you have any questions? I probably don't have answers. I literally just have a scrap of paper from the archive that says transdimensional postmortem ecosystem ? And a gelatinous slime wall, yellow, green.
Seems to be enough information.
Excellent.
Shall we?
Is there a contract we have to deal with or anything like that?
The contract with the Night Watch is honor. But yes, there's also a contract, of course. It's a company. And yeah, she produces a contract that she asks all of you to sign. You'll all be paid your base rate, so 25 guilders times your level. And if you have some sort of higher rank, you get bonuses. And there is conditional hazard pay, which is retroactive. If it's discovered that this is indeed an existential threat, then you all get a bonus of 200 guilders each.
Okay.
Okay. Pistilla is gonna roll will on the contract because you always will roll will on the contract.
What are you trying to perceive, like loopholes and whatnot?
Just anything. If there's like anything they're not telling us or anything that's implied or like, again, loopholes, fun loopholes.
What'd you get?
Yeah, so I got a 2, which is not a great roll, but we're getting the bad rolls out when they don't matter.
The contract is written in terse military language. It says something to the effect of prevent famine by investigating transdimensional postmortem ecosystem, stop giant flies. Flies in quotation marks. It doesn't really have much more info. Existential threat ? And then there's a box checked for hazard pay, with like an arrow drawn to existential threat.
Since this contract is through the Night Watch, is the same standard reporting of finding technology.
Oh yeah, yeah. All of the company policies still apply. Pethin just doesn't really care about that stuff as much, but that doesn't mean it's still not legal. But of course, everyone kind of bends the rules. So up to you what you want to do when you discover, if you discover, when you discover cool stuff.
Lower's a bit deflated. He thought this might be a good way to like be able to keep some stuff.
I mean, you could talk to Bethan about it, but again, Bethan doesn't care. She cares about whether this essentially the corpse of a giant monster is going to cause a major famine on her homeworld. If you find a cool space gun, go for it. That's half of the Night Watch is wearing like, these are the Warhammer 40K-esque people, but all very confused, battling like time travelers or like potential threats that won't happen for a long time. So you can imagine a lot of them have gear they've retained from their ventures that is just very, various. So they don't necessarily look like a sleek professional army of modern standards. They look more like early modern mercenaries looked. So just wearing like, animal skins. Pethin is used to that. So she's fully expecting if you find like a cool thing, you probably won't tell her. She just wants to make sure you do this job. But I mean, she'd arrest you if she found out you lied. So
Pistilla is going to take out an orange gel pen and just start signing.
Great. We definitely, in the chat, please feel free to post the type of pen that you have.
That's a good question.
Otherwise, should we just jump to, so everyone signs, everyone good to like jump to you are on Darasan having traveled through the great ruins.
Let's do it.
Any further questions or things? You can always retcon if it's basic, like, hey, I wanted to make sure I bought some gunch or whatever. Just mark off the guilders on your character sheet and add the gunch, right?
I haven't rolled my my negative modifier to my HP yet. Should I do that now? As effects?
Yeah.
I'll do it. Here we go.
You should do any like final, like anything you want to do that's a final character thing.
So I'm taking 28 and I got 4, so minus 4, 24.
Cool. Yeah, and any final questions? I mean, again, you can ask me as we go, but this is I just want to like keep it moving for the stream. In a campaign, obviously, we could do all kinds of wacky prep scenarios. Mm-hmm. So Theendau. Theendau is enormous and cavernous, and on the inside there are sections of metal hallways and vast chambers that are essentially pristine, and there are many, many sections that are smooshed in, because this thing was meant to be in orbit around a planet, and like its little sister Hlothian and like its big sisters Teenth and Ulthine, which are just entire, basically like provinces of the queendom of Theen and the Republic of Teenth, because they are so large. Theendau was meant to be in space and not on the ground. So as you emerge from some sort of mechanical stiffworks, picture like some fancy sort of Trekkie like teleport chamber into the darkness. You make your way through hallways that have been cleaned once and again by voidminers who know about this sort of back door, the secret entrance that the company doesn't publicize, but they use for important missions. However, you then encounter any number of unknown threats, which we will not go into, but we are going to roll for what it costs you. So could everyone make a basically a will resist world or a movement check, whatever's higher, movement or will. You're just trying to get a high score on one of those.
The will.
I rolled 7 movement.
Great.
7.
4.
Great. All right, and I think we're waiting on. Is that a 4? So 2 4s and 2 7s. Okay.
Huh.
Those of you who rolled 7s, you take 3 damage to grit or health, split up however you like, representing scrapes and bruises. Maybe you got in a big fight, you healed up. I can provide a little color commentary on that, but it's not really essential to this venture. Those of you who got 4s, you take 6 damage to grit and or health, and you can split that up however you like. Does that make sense, what I just explained?
Oh yeah.
Would you like me to make up some kind of nonsense about what you were doing that led to this problem?
I think basically what happened is like with Pistilla, so like she tacked into this place and she thought she'd do like this cool banshee trick that she like learned in banshee school where like you can kind of do like this backflip through the stiff works and land it, but she like did not land even the right way, and like combined with all like the nausea that the stiff works can cause, it did not end well for her, and she just is, yeah, she's dealing with that now.
Excellent. Does anyone else want to explain your cuts and or bruises and or other health issues?
At some point, Heavy Kelp Director sort of got distracted and wandered off and sort of accidentally clipped into a wall, right? Missed boundary detection. And that, sort of resolving back onto the dimension caused a little discomfort, they would call it.
Discomfort, yeah. No, I like that. Great. Any other thoughts on your exploring this vast hulk that we will surely return to in a future venture?
I just have one quick above table question. From here to the as yet unexplored entity, how long is it going to take?
It is very close. It is going to take basically no narrative time.
Okay, no narrative. Got it. All right.
It would normally take some random rolls amount of time. Okay. So, and I will just say that you definitely encountered at some point what we'll call the Vorlocks. So these are very sort of pale, regardless of what they originally looked like. The sort of desaturate, sunless humanoids who sort of shrunk. They've been living on a diet of like bugs and maybe grasses, but largely like molds and weird prefabbed foods that can still be generated in some parts of the ship. They maybe are descendants of the original inhabitants of the ship, and they wear sort of wires, and just basically their clothes are made of like scraps of metal and just crap from the ship. And it is possible that some of them attacked you or helped you or asked for help. They certainly do not speak a language that you speak. And they may also have warned you about the sort of bat-like organisms that live in Theendao, which, and when I say bat-like, I mean they're very large and purple and leathery and eyeless. And those may also have been some of the cause of your troubles.
These creatures, what is their dentition like?
Warlock? Well, I mean, I guess it depends how. I don't know that there's been enough time for like real evolutionary pressures, but maybe due to malnutrition, like humans without a lot of teeth, like they're kind of gumming it as much as possible. They're gumming like lichen.
I think that's where I expended all of this grit and health, was like attempting to do some rapid emergency dental work.
Yeah, I love that. Like M draws as the katana and is like, "I'm here to help your teeth." Totally normal dentist move. Okay, so you emerge into the morning sun, we'll say, out of the side of Theendao. There's some area where the wall is weak enough. You can kind of like, it's like if you're trapped in a shed and you realize the wall, you could maybe not punch it out completely, but just kind of bend it, and it'll like crack away from another wall, and you can kind of crawl out. So you do some sort of awkward, like, somebody holds it open and you crawl down and out. You're all in this sea of grass, of red grass, because on Darasan, it was terraformed by human cohort of some kind. The archivists think from Terra. The people here are very proud and believe they're from nowhere. But they do not have anything that photosynthesizes using chlorophyll. It uses some different compounds. Everything is red that would be green on Terra. This sort of sea of grass very, very gently, slowly moves down toward a very long, thin, basically a freshwater lake called the Brablingzee. And well before it gets there, so just, maybe a mile in the distance, you can see what looks like a yellow hill kind of poking conspicuously out of this sea of red. Maybe there are farms nearby, but not really anything too close. They would be on the edge of your vision because Thiendau is haunted. So the Fiendish, they don't come too close. Maybe because of the Vorlocks, the bats, the nightmarish Escheresque beings that sometimes are just here. It's you let me know. What do you want to do? How do you want to approach this? It's dawn on Darasan, a mile straight in front of you. So like northwest. Appears to be a sort of maybe a mile-long pile of yellow goop.
We can see it. There's no need to track it. Don't need to track.
So they just want us to figure out, like, what's the deal with this thing?
The venture was to stop the things that are coming out of the things from harming the farms.
Oh.
So why wouldn't we just walk straight at it?
There it is.
You can just walk straight at it. The only reason you wouldn't probably is like dragon game mentality of like, this is a trap. Let's do something completely different.
Well, do we believe what we're seeing? Like, does it make do we believe that it's real, or does it could it be in our heads?
You could roll reason or roll will. I'd say they'd represent two somewhat different questions, and you could also use a power if you have a relevant power.
I guess. Does it look? It doesn't look like it should be there. So I guess that's a question when we're just going out onto different planets often. So like, do we think this is real or some kind of hallucination?
I would roll reason or will. Will would represent like what your sensorium is telling you, which is one thing, and then reason would be like what facts you already know about like Darasan ecosystems.
Okay, I'll roll will.
And everyone can do like one of these, and then we'll just go around.
I rolled Rhea and I got 12.
12. Holy crap. Okay, nice. Okay, so you get some smarty pants. Is Weston? What was lower using, will or reason?
Will. Okay. Just like, do I believe my senses? Like, does this seem out of place or not? Like,
yeah, I mean, you. I think lower has some sort of sensorium that is not exactly the same as a human. So you have some sense of smell that's stronger. Maybe your eyesight's a bit weaker in certain ways, in the sense of maybe distance where there's visual acuity or color distinction. But overall, let's say the facts you have a strong ability to sense things in general in your place in space. You have whiskers, etc. And this thing should not be here at all. It is. It seems real in the sense that you can see it. But it is kind of buzzing in a way that things should not. Like it stands at a strange angle to itself, and the way that your mind might interpret this, having talked with other void miners and possibly seen stuff like this, you tell me, is you think this is something from the Escheresque. It is not from 3 space. It is not of this dimensionality natively. So you are seeing kind of part of it that is parked here for some reason. And Pistilla knows all kinds of things. So Pistilla, your training as a scientist, you believe this is a dead Cthulhu. Like this is a being from some higher dimensional hell in the common parlance. That this is its body, and you're seeing like part of it, and it is just fallen onto a farm, basically. So it is real, but no, it should not be here, to answer your questions.
Would I know, like, it's dead, so, like, are there things still happening in it? Or is it dead?
From a mile away, it just is like a weird yellow blob, but you were told that there's stuff coming out of it, so it's possible that it was described by the archivist who analyzed the report from the local witness as an ecosystem. So it is possible that the Cthulhu kit itself, I guess since you got a 12, your guess is the body might be dead, but there might be like stuff within it. Like when a human dies, the microbes inside don't all also, commit seppuku in
Yes. Hey, so that's definitely a dead Cthulhu kit. But I don't know. If things are still like coming out of it, I don't feel like we should go in whatever the front door of this thing is.
So you think it has a mouth?
It doesn't have to be a mouth. Just like I don't think we should charge the front of it. I don't know.
But why not?
It feels like a trap. Like sometimes Cthulhu kits are just designed or just a certain way that like if I heard like my buddy in the academy, like he like got in a gnarly situation with one of those where like if you even like go in from the front with one of the with like a dead one of these, it's not good. You have weird stress dreams about it. I don't want weird.
If the mouth is the front door, then maybe we go in the ear.
Okay.
Well, do you want to get closer and take a look?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, at least close enough to sense the scale of the things coming out of it.
Right. All right. Do you have any particular, without going into too much detail, any quick like marching order notes or things you're doing as you walk? Tactical moves you want to make?
I mean,
Heavy Kelp Director's
I do have this drone.
skills are not like.
I forgot about this.
Oh, sorry.
I think. Go ahead.
I can use. I have a drone. Name is Mimosa. It's in my bag. I haven't really done anything with it, but I did bring it in case. And like, I think we could just send it over there to be covert and look for stuff. But also, if we wanted to sneak and approach from the ear, we could also do that. But I do also have. But I should have mentioned I have a drone, and that can help if we want.
Okay. So do you want to use Mimosa the drone, which is, sick drone name, very typical military drone name, to assess the situation here?
Yeah, she like made. Yeah, she like made this thing herself. Like she's just kind of like rummaging through her like her pack, and she kind of separated the thing into like 3 parts for travel. But like, yeah. So this drone has no game effect until you power it up. It's like this. It's like kind of, how like sometimes things are like made out of like black carbon. This is kind of like white carbon. We're deciding that's a thing, and it's just kind of like got like this like little propeller on top of it, and she is going to kind of touch like this circle that is kind of like on the side of the drone, and burn 5 grit, and it kind of looks like how she normally touches Stiffworks. Sometimes we feel like we're like, you touch a textbook and you can feel like the knowledge flowing into you, but she's actually like, because the thing about Enjan is like, she doesn't have a plant mind. Her plant mind is kind of all over her body, so she's kind of using her plant mind to kind of like push some energy through her small hand to wake this guy up. and you see these like kind of LED eyes just kind of like blink, and there's like cameras on this thing, and she like sets up some stuff on her comm. And this is the eyes should actually be orange because it's mimosa. Yeah.
Okay,
this
so
is mimosa.
I think
This is the first time we're taking out mimosa.
you send her
So
out.
this drone has no game effect until you power it up. Has a free action, burn 5 crit for a number of rounds equal to your level +2. I will gain a new dry. Huh?
I think there may be a delay, but I think it works. So why don't I tell you what Mimosa sees, and then you all can decide what you want to do. But the short answer is there's a very clear link. Like the thing that it is moving toward is definitely changing the land around it. So there's kind of concentric rings of stuff happening. So as you get closer, you see that there's sort of like on the other side, there begin to be little patchworks of farms of red wheat. So the grass is not just like tall, wavy grass. It is, agricultural. It's like standing little stalks like in the distance. But first there's this kind of wall of yellow, and it's coming out of the ground. And it looks like it's actually just the tip of this thing. And it looks kind of like the image you see on the screen. That's like the heart of it. But all around it, so I will read some of the flavor text here. What was at first a distant mirage has slithered closer and is unfortunately very real. Massive black tentacles spill out from its center like inky roots. The air is thick, and the light from above dissipates into a roiling fog that surrounds the corpse. And basically there's a field of tentacles growing out of the yellow maw. And you can also see occasionally the wriggling of very large maggots coming out of it. And as the drone gets closer, you realize that there is some other signal you might feel through your plant sensorium. So I'd say, Sarah, can you roll will to resist other?
Oh shit! Yeah, I can do that. Ooh, yeah, we can. That's a 4.
Great. You lose.
The build I just wants to roll 4s today.
It's you can always get it on the drone, but this drone just sails into the mouth, into the maw, and just keeps on going. It actually at some point you see a tentacle kind of come up and caress its underside. Also at this point you hear something in your head in kind of your own voice, which this is an analogy, so it's like whatever you think Pistilla would hear that would be similar to me hearing the voice of Macho Man Randy Savage like yelling in my head really loudly. So it's not that voice, but it's whatever this plant would hear. So it probably wouldn't even be vibration, right? It would be some chemical signal. And then everyone else, you hear Pistilla screaming, but as an enjan, she like whispers, right? So it's like a weird stage whisper, what I'm about to read.
Okay.
So you hear, "Congratulations, traveler! You found my corpse! A delightful achievement! To claim rewards, simply step inside."
Yeah. Heavy
You
Kelp
basically
Director
hear
just
this
looked
in,
at the others.
the boisterous voice that like Pistilla has, or like for an enjan. I don't know. It's weird because she's loud, but her species is whispery.
So we all heard that.
You all
Yeah.
hear it as Pistilla, and Pistilla hears it as Plant Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah.
Lower just starts. Yeah, let's go because this is his whole weakness.
Yeah. Oh, Heavy Kelp Director loves the idea of this. That there's like some kind of competition that they've won. Delightful.
That's what's
Also,
happening.
Did any of us get to see this image?
What I guess that's a question for Sarah. I would just say yes for simplicity. Like maybe there's a
if
little.
they're like kind of
monitor.
like if you are huddling around, she's not gonna wave you off. Like it's basically like she has a sleeve. She has some sort of comm link or whatever on that sleeve. I'm just imagining it's like whatever phones people have in Shadowrun or whatever. and like she's looking at it, and she's not gonna like wave you off if you try to like look over her shoulder at what is on her very big comm link.
M has seen the mouth now, and gotta go look.
Yeah, we gotta go look.
Would I have seen that kind of like hole that seems to be further down? It's like on the right side of the image, but it's like a hole, and it's like it seems to be further down on the beast.
Yeah, sorry, I could have prepared better. I could have taken screenshots and stuff. This is like an isometric map that shows other stuff, like on like a cutaway, but you don't see. You're just seeing this mile-long like head coming out of the ground. So everything else would be invisible below like inside the earth of Darasan. So you would see like a sea of tentacles kind of slowly creeping out over the farm. And you'd see this big open, like weird mouth, but you wouldn't see any other holes or anything like that. But this is just showing off the amazing illustration of Odd Gob Games. So yeah, you want to proceed forward.
I guess if it's okay to go in the mouth, we're going in the mouth. We're going in the mouth.
Excellent.
Strategically, the only thing I'm going to say is that M will attempt to be equidistant to everyone else within 10 meters. There's a mechanical reason why, but they're going to attempt to make sure that everyone is at most 10 meters away from them.
Okay.
Pistilla is probably going to try to hang towards the back and try to like stealthily go in the mouth, or just proceed stealthily, not like. Just because, like, she doesn't want this thing to notice her, though it probably will.
Or perhaps already has.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, when you get perceived, but you're also like, do not perceive me.
I mean, it definitely already has. Okay, so you all go forward, slowly down over a mile, walking basically toward the farmland through this grass. And at first it's not that weird, other than the yellow thing is just it's both like out of place because it's like if a slug was like a mile long and like a house tall, but it also has that shimmering effect where like you kind of can't quite look at it no matter, like you keep wanting to rub your eyes or appropriate sensorium, and also there's a fog. So as you get closer, you realize that there is this. It's at first like water vapor, and then the fog becomes almost more, metaphorical. Like you are kind of, there are more physical dimensions, and you're kind of seeing weird effects happen. So it's a little like if you've done psychedelics, like kind of light, hallucinatory vibe. You are now very close. There is some kind of smell, but I don't think it would be like normal rotting. It would be almost like a weird mix of things that would just. Maybe like playing random notes on your olfactory senses. So like sometimes it's like very cheesy. Sometimes it's kind of a pleasant, sweet smell, and sometimes it's like a plasticky, like synthetic smell. As you come closer, I think each of you hears some version of this in your head at different times. But like, yes, come closer, brave travelers. There is nothing to fear. Make it through my tentacles. Rewards are yours.
There's no way I resist this. I've got disadvantage. Will to resist moving forward. Lies about rewards.
That's very specific.
That's so specific, and I love it.
It's very specific.
Anyone want to do anything before you like get right up to it, or any powers you're using?
Does this classify as woodlands or wetlands for the purposes of Fex movement or anything?
That's tough. It's. I guess you could go with that. I mean, it's kind of close to wetlands, and it's not really woody, but yeah. I mean, it's like a wild place. I don't know. Go for it.
If ooze is wet, maybe
feels like home, but not quite.
Sure. Yeah. All right. To get through basically the tentacles are kind of slapping around. And they're larger as you go. So at first they're like small, like root kind of things, and then they kind of get larger than the grass, and they're kind of grasping. And you see at some point who is in advanced position, like who's the scout taking the lead.
lower would be. I think being like razi and also like I don't know, he just kind of get in there kind of person.
Great.
So
You see, you see, you don't see the drone because I think that already happened. Let's say someone has brought a pet crow. This would not be native to the planet because Darasan actually has no animals. The only animal-like fauna that evolved here were the Gelasti, who were single-celled organisms that gained sapience and became very large. They're the only like macro predators. But someone's brought a pterodactyl. So crow, in Stillfleet, of course, is a little albino pterodactyl, a little eyeless, bird like pterosaur, very popular fleeters as pets, basically like parrots and pirates in ye olden times. And there's one of those that's trapped in a tentacle and getting slowly dragged toward the maw. And it's kind of doing its little pterodactyl like and pecking, and it can't really get free.
save the poor baby. Gotta save the baby. Yeah, lower might just try to like see if he could pull it free. Just pull on the tentacle and see what happens. I don't know.
Make a move check.
11 minus 2, 9.
Great. You pull it free, and you also notice the tentacles are kind of trying to grab stuff, and as you get closer and closer to the maw, they seem more aggressive. So you made one successful move check. Everyone else, please roll a move check.
Does it have to be a move, or can it be something else? Because I think what I might do is just draw the Nodachi and start using it like a machete.
Great. Roll combat instead.
Heavy Kelp Director's move is 6.
6. Okay, so that's all right. That's 2 successes.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I got an 8.
That's great. That's 3. And I guess what is the result of this combat check, Chris?
Sorry, it was mistyping. That's a 4.
Okay. You attack the tentacle, and I think you probably cut into it, and it's just very sticky, and you're kind of like stuck in this goo. And then another tentacle essentially like wraps around you, and is trying to drag you back. And you take 2 damage with burn 1, meaning every round until you put out the acidic burning of the contact. It increases the amount of damage you take automatically.
Okay.
So you take 2 damage this round. Next round you'll take 3, and then 4, and then so on.
But damage reduction applies, right?
What are you wearing? Well, yeah, I guess, yeah, you're wearing like physical armor that would make it hard to, for the acid to get you. Yeah, that makes sense.
The leather smock.
Right. So there's like a hole in your smock. There's like a, just like a smeared, like burned area. Does someone do someone want to use a move check to try to help M? And or M, do you want to roll a move check to just run away toward the maw? As you can see that as you get closer to the maw, there's actually no tentacles like inside. The tentacles are some sort of exterior thing happening automatically. You can think of them like hairs. And then when you get into the maw, there's no more tentacles.
Yeah, I'll try to help out. I was thinking before to do move that I might try to do an attack and use my daze ability to try to like daze the tentacle that's try to wrap around. Is that all right?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so roll calm.
Yeah.
Okay.
With the same, if you fail, you're going to take damage.
It's only a 2.
Sick. You also take 2 damage with burn 1. There's now 2 of you wrapped up in these tentacles covered in acidic slime. Also, at this point, you have disturbed the web, the outer web. And you can see that more tentacles are sort of whipping around your way in just, dumb reaction. And also there is, by random chance, there are some maggots kind of coming out of the maw. So through these tree-sized teeth and towards you. And those it looks like they're going to arrive in a couple of rounds, and it looks like they, you can see from this distance, they're they're large and sort of semi chitinous. It's almost like they have like a layer of like pallid, like yellow white rubber over like some sort of plate. And then they don't have eyes, but they have these big upturned noses and these orifices with lots of little tiny razory teeth. And their sort of back end depends into what looks almost like a human heart-shaped kind of club tail. And they have lots of little arms that end in these kind of shovel-like, almost like hoof appendages. And so they're sort of wriggling towards you. So at first they look like normal maggots, and you're like, that is like not, it's not like a normal bug. It's like a cat-sized mouth.
Okay, so great news. On the move roll, I rolled a 1.
Excellent.
So I have things now that I'd want to do as a consequence of this, but proceed.
Well, let's do y'all's rolls first. Everyone can roll this round if you want. If you roll movement, you can roll for yourself, and you can roll to extract now M and lower, who are both kind of caught up. You need 5 successes as a group to move on. You have 3. But M and lower can't move on until someone helps them or they help themselves.
All right, Heavy Kelp Director steps up. We can't get the rewards if we don't go in its mouth. And tries to help out M. And I got a 4.
You have a point there. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, so 4 is no help. Sarah, is Pistilla helping
my
M
God.
or lower?
Yeah, basically, like, as soon as at least 2 people got wrapped up in tentacles, like, Pistilla did, like, a little facepalm with one of her smaller arms, but has since, she's like, I guess I have to do this again. Yeah, she's gonna help. I'm trying to decide whether I want to now. Like, what I could do, I could just do a move check or whatever. I could also try to use dive, like make an argument for using dive for getting everybody out of the tentacles and further into the beast, out of the way. I could also use, I don't know, use my spines to somehow hurt the tentacles, but they might also stick on to my spines and make it harder for me to get out.
I might have a get out of jail free card for us if you want to just try mundane to help.
All right, yeah, and then if that doesn't work, we can try dive.
I think lower shouted like, "Don't bother attacking! It's useless. It just keeps coming."
Well, so this
right.
round, sorry, Sarah, it's your action this round, and Chris and Weston. I mean, y'all can also have this one more action before we should probably go into initiative here, but.
Yeah, I guess in that case,
So I think I am going to try and hack myself free one more time.
Roll for it.
yeah. I want to. Okay, so I think what I want to do is I actually want to if it's my turn, I want to use dive.
Great. Well, then that makes sense. But let's see. So, Chris, what did you get? Did you
6?
Great. You hack yourself free. So you're not
Okay, so
closer,
it's just,
but you are free, and you have your sword out, and you're surrounded by these tentacles. And then, what does Pistilla do to kind of extract everyone into the maw?
Actually, I'm not going to use dive. I think if it's just one person, it's just M. Is everyone free?
No, just lower is still caught up.
Just lower?
Yeah.
All right, then I'm going to
Did you
help
want me to
lower
roll?
out. I'm just going to help lower out with do we want a combat move or do we want a move? Probably a move.
You both can roll this round. Go for it. And so Weston, if you want to roll combat or move, if you roll combat and fail, you take more damage.
Yeah, I rolled a move at the same time as Chris, so
Great.
I got a 10 minus 2, 8.
Great. Okay, then
Okay, so everyone's free. So we're good.
everyone's free.
Okay.
So you need 2 more successes as a group to move on. So if Pistilla
All right.
kind of held her action, I'm seeing Pistilla's kind of indecisive here. If you want to
Yeah.
roll a move to just lead the group around the tentacles as you see Lower kind of free themselves.
I guess I just want to do like a normal thing. I don't want to do dive unless like I don't feel like we're in there enough to be like, okay, we gotta use dive. So yeah.
All right,
Or
then roll move. That's
move.
the least dangerous thing you can do. It's just running away, basically.
Okay. The worst thing happened. I got a 1.
Great. Then I think what happens is you all do make it into the maw, but something is with you, which is you've taken a long time. You've taken 2 rounds. So also, we've not resolved the burn. So I'm sorry, Weston, Chris, you each took 3 damage from that last round instead of 2 because you're still covered in.
Okay.
We
Did
could
it-
also factor like Pistilla's actual indecisiveness into this too.
Yeah. And then I think while you're free and you all rush forward, there is that kind of it. I wouldn't say it's a tongue in the same way our tongues function, but it's a tongue-like thing. There's a bunch of soft yellow flesh spilling over this wall of just very sharp, angular teeth-like things, and you rush up and into the maw. And Pistilla's kind of bringing up the rear. However, that means that Pistilla is bringing with you the maggots. So there are a bunch of these sort of cat-sized, just toothy things coming at you. Could someone roll a d4 for how many maggots are following Pistilla?
That's a 3.
3. There are 3 of them, and they make a kind of chittering, like as their little shovel gross hands are sort of like they're not even meant to move around outside of the body. So they're sort of like really awkwardly, sort of an anime villain, like walking at you. So I would say at this point, you're inside, and everyone should roll initiative. And I'm going to roll for a couple things here. But maybe if you could post your initiative in the chat for everyone, the like common chat, that'll keep it fun. Like you're all.
You mean the Twitch chat?
Yeah.
All right, I'm not on Twitch now. Let's see.
Oh, okay. Can you all not see on StreamYard? If you go up to comments, that is the Twitch chat.
Oh.
Oh,
okay.
this is
Yeah.
the
Nice.
Oh, I can't type.
Oh, I
in
can't
that
type in there
chat.
now.
What? Really? Oh, and we just lost Sarah. What is going on? All right,
Oh,
well, this
no.
is fine. This is a test. We're testing StreamYard.
I could try to open a Twitch, but I'm scared the same thing that happened to me before will happen.
No, that's fine. Then just tell me your initiative. This was really just, I was like, oh, we could just post stuff, but I see. That's not how that works.
I've got a 10.
And Heavy Kelp Director has a 3.
Okay.
I have an 8.
8. Good. And let's go with 1. Okay, great. And then we just need to let Sarah back in. Okay. Hey, what's up, Sarah? What
hey,
did
it's
you
just
get?
a move roll, right?
Yeah, what'd you get for initiative?
3.
3, great. Okay, Weston, I think you got a 10, right?
Yes.
What do you do as you all are sort of clear of the tentacles, but you see these 3 things launching themselves at Pistilla?
Quick mechanical question. If I have sharp, grimy claws and it can attack twice, can I split those to 2 different things, or do I have to be on the same one?
Yeah, you can split them. Anyone within a generous 5 meters, which would be, a lot of Fast Furious style rushing around to move 5 meters. But
So it'd probably be like a melee in the vicinity of Pistilla. So I want to attack 2 different ones, and I'm trying to use my Daze Stillrijder ability.
Okay.
So I just wouldn't do any damage, but I could stun them.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to attack the first one's 4 plus 3, so to be 7 to hit.
They can't dodge that. That's a hit.
Okay, so one of them I would have landed a Daze on. So that says it stuns for 1 round, and now they suffer -2 to all rolls for duration of combat. And then I'm going for a different one, and I got a 11.
Great. So
Also
stunned
Daze.
and stunned. Yeah, for 1 round, and it's at -2 for all checks for this whole combat. Great. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, and 3. Awesome. So yeah, you just go ham at these things and are just like punching them, I guess, or kicking them.
Yeah, it's all just claws and fists. Maybe a bite in there, but I don't know if I want to get a chunk of this in my mouth.
Oh yeah. Fair enough. Chris.
Okay, step 1. The sword is already out, but you see that something starts to happen to the blade itself. It starts to, in a way, sort of vibrate, but it's more like it's leaving your line of sight. It becomes hard to look at. I'm going to burn 3 grit and extra dimensionalize my sword.
Oh shit.
Love
The sword itself is now Escheresque.
Yes. Sorry, I love this kind of stuff.
Your sword has like another physical dimension that you can't really see, but that makes it really, really dangerous.
Indeed. And so then I'm gonna chop at one of the stunned ones, I guess.
Great. So you extra dimensionalize its free action and roll to hit.
Do I get any advantage over the fact that it's stunned, or
It has a -2 to dodge, and it only has a d6 move. So it's rolling a d6 -2 to dodge you. So you pretty much are likely to hit it going forward. So what did you get?
only a 3? A 3.
Okay, so it could potentially dodge that.
That doesn't make any. Wait, I'm sorry. That literally makes no sense.
It's Escheresque.
I think that's going to be a 6 because I rolled a d6 and I told it to add 3, and it told me the answer is 3. So that theoretically, I would have needed to roll a 0 on a d6. So
No, I'm seeing the result is the blue above. So it did add. You rolled a 3 and it added 3.
okay.
So it gave you.
Okay.
Also, the maggot you went after got a -1. So it not only
Hell
it
yeah.
runs into your blade along the Escheresque dimension, like it runs away from you and just slices itself on the blade. So how
That's
much
funny.
damage?
Oh, it's a whole bunch of damage.
Oh, great.
It's let me just double check. Yeah, it's 3d6 plus 3 damage.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, so 10 damage.
Great. It's dead. It's it is dribbling its e-core out of it, and it is still trying to run away from you, and still probably like accidentally running into your sword over and over. It was trying to go for Pistilla and then change tactic as you swung at it, and just wildly misjudged because it couldn't see what was going on. That is okay. That's Chris's initiative. So Ryan, you are up next.
Heavy Kelp Director as a snakehead has a maximum combat of d6. Mine is d4. So, Heavy Kelp Director just sort of standing back a little ways, sees one of them stunned and thinks, now's my time to shine. And unslings a very large pistol, thicker around than their limb, and pops off a shot from a magnum.
Love it.
With a 3 to hit.
Big rollers. Big rollers. All right, let me see if this wounded, stunned thing can possibly dodge you. It got a 2, so you shoot it. It is like right in front of you. It doesn't even really move. You just shoot it.
Fantastic. And I hit for 3 + 2, 5 damage.
Great. Sarah, there's one wounded and one unwounded, and they are coming right at you. They did roll a 1 on initiative, so they're a little slower than you. They're kind of off their game following up the tongue, but they're trying to bite you.
I'm gonna say the reason I rolled so low on initiative, it makes up for all the sirens. Sorry about that. That's not even me, but
Whoop.
anyway. So there is something I forgot to mention is that Pistilla has something called a Bernie stick. It's an original, like she's a banshee. She likes fiddling around with tech. She like literally built this at a bar on Kagita because she was just like did not want to do the social things. And it's repurposed like sticks and parts of an old like toaster into this burning trident thingy. And but like the 3 points aren't like this. They're kind of like more like this and kind of like spiked. Like with the heat elements located there and kind of like some wires like going down the length of the handle and stuff like that. And so she's going to try to wound the unwounded one with this.
Nice.
The way this works is it does say that because this was something that I made, I do have to roll a d6 and it breaks on a d1. Like if I get a 1. So yeah, I do that. Yes, like a cattle prod, but hot. Yes. Like a cattle prod, but it can make toast. So and that's a 5, so it doesn't break.
Great.
What should I roll like combat or move or?
Yeah, if it sounds like an architect melee weapon to me, but if you had some other rules written down, that's fine too. But if you want to roll to hit, there's there's one wounded and one unwounded one kind of leaping at you as you wield your terrifying super toaster trident.
Yeah, it's up to you. Should I roll a die or do you want?
Yeah. Why don't if it needs rolls, I'd say roll to hit, and it does a whole bunch of damage and probably causes burn as well.
All right,
Or stun, maybe.
Yeah. All right, I'll roll combat.
And are you going after the one that has a bullet hole in it, or the one that looks substantially unharmed?
Unharmed.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I got a 10.
Oh, great. Yeah, it can't dodge that. You hit it.
Yeah.
You smack it, and it's electrified. Do you? Let's just say you would very likely kill it. So you kill it. So there's one left. Basically, it's harmed. It's hurt, wriggling around. And at this point, it is still trying to attack. Also, a couple other housekeeping matters. You're still burning M and lower. So you each take 4 damage this round as the acid continues to eat through you because you haven't taken a standard action to treat yourself medically.
Is that total or is that per round? So
like
how much would I take in
2
total?
damage, then 3, then 4. So in total, that's 9, right? Math?
Okay.
Yes. So, and you will just keep taking more and more damage until you get the acid off. It's eating through your body.
It's getting worse. I see. I thought it was total.
No, it's burn. So it is burning you until you deal with it.
Sorry, the total now is how much? Because I did
9 total. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Would healing stop that, or does it need to be some other kind of action?
Yeah, you can heal. Yeah, you could just take a standard action and roll reason to use medicine to do basic like cleaning a wound.
I was thinking about like specifically my powers to heal, my advanced powers.
I believe the heal power says that it can negate bleed and burn.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that would be on your. So that would be like in lieu of like attacking, right? If you like do your medicine, that takes at least a few seconds, a very generous few seconds. Kind of like ER style, where they like paddles and like okay, you're good. So we can deal with that next round. This round, there's one half dead maggot attacking Pistilla, but you all hear this booming voice, and you see in front of you, moving very, very quickly, because large things, even if they move slow, they move quicker. So the head of this thing is a mile long. So it sort of shoots out its upper jaw that's covered in teeth and domes over the
Oh no.
the space you're in, and connects down and sort of mismashes onto the sea of other teeth. And you hear in your heads, "Mwahaha! What absolute imbeciles! I have you now where I want you. You have to help me. You are caught in my gnashing teeth. You
At this
tiny-"
moment, Heavy Kelp Director responds by bartering. I'm going to burn 6 grit and swap a Hell Science power with it.
with the thing you are in.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Okay. Sure. Pick anything. That's I don't know if that's actually true.
Yeah, I was hoping for just like, because I take it away from it for a couple of hours, or yeah, for 3 hours, the number of or equal to your level. So I was just trying to take something away from it that it might.
Right. Do you want to roll, or do you want to literally roll for what this power is that you
Yeah,
gain?
happy to. Yeah.
Okay. Then roll a d6 and a d20.
Okay, got it.
So this is a free action,
Got
right?
Standard action.
Oh, okay. Well, then this would have to wait for your next round because you already went
Sounds
this
good.
round, right? So yeah, that last maggot attack. So you can do it. We know it's coming, but I'm just saying let's be fair to let's let this thing attack. Sarah, Pistilla has to dodge a 4.
I have to dodge a what?
A 4 quattro.
And so I would be rolling move or.
Yes. So you roll move to dodge.
All right.
And this is this cat-sized eyeless maggot with this very razory orifice attack.
That's a 3.
Great. You're gonna take some damage here.
No.
Getting rushed out.
Well, soak.
Soap, is that what you said?
Soak. I said soak. I'm within 10 meters of you.
Oh,
so at the moment that it's going to attack you, suddenly M stutters into existence millimeters in front of your face. So their smooth faces just millimeters away from your face. And they say, I have the utmost confidence in our ability to complete this mission, and takes the damage for you.
Well, good thing you have DR. It's 6 damage.
No, my DR is 1, right?
No. I also get to remove 4 of that.
There you go.
Soak, I just wipe out 4 of it before DR even kicks in. So I take 1 damage.
It's trying to gnaw into you, and honestly, it does not hurt as bad as the acid burning through you. Great.
By the way, that is a free action, completely unrelated to any of. I didn't spend anything to do that.
Great. Then you're there in front of it, and it's kind of maybe it's on your arm, and you're bashing it. Weston, it's your initiative. Top of the next round.
Yeah, I think the lower's reaction is very similar to mine. It's like there's a lot going on, and just realized how bad this burn has gotten. And my exosuit doesn't prevent any of that damage, does it? Right?
I'm just going with the harsh rule of extra dimensional slime. Probably IRL that would help a lot. Yeah. But.
Get it off me.
Great. Just make. I'm going to say it's just a 5+ reason check to in 10 seconds get it all off you, so it's not causing any damage.
Ooh, do I want to boost that?
You might want to boost that.
I'm going to boost that by 3.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't need to. It's 8 plus 3 is 11.
Great. Then I will say that in the future, since you got 11, you don't need to roll reason to get rid of that specific acid. You figured out what's going on there. It's like it's very gelatinous. It's like a gelée, and you get it all out of your armor. There's kind of a hole in your exosuit now, but you can patch that. So you're no longer suffering burn. You don't take that damage this round.
It's a fun sauce.
Yeah, fun sauce. There you go. Chris, it is M's initiative. So you soak the damage, and you've got this thing on you. You got your Nodachi.
Actually, I actually pop at the end of taking the damage. I just go back to where I was. It's implausible, but it happens.
Sure.
So I am going to use my standard action to regenerate. Which is the sort of elevated version of heal. So I'm going to burn. Let's see. I have 9 damage. So I need to use 3. So I'm going to burn 6 grit and heal all of my damage and get rid of the burning.
Great. Okay. So you burn some grit, and you I don't know if you think of this as like you're it's a biomechanical power where like your metal is like reforming itself Terminator style, or it's like a doctoring thing and you're like carefully stitching stuff up, maybe with a soldering iron. Up to you. It could go all the way Futurama, and it's like Bender putting a Band-Aid on a cut.
No, it's fully Terminator-esque. You just see the scarred and melted parts just sort of reform.
Sick. Great. Then with that, you have this thing on you or near you, but you're away from it. You feel better. And Ryan, it is now time to barter if you're using that standard action.
Okay, great. If there wasn't a list, I'm just taking any random power. There wasn't a list of.
No. This thing's dead. You're talking to. It's. It's about your characters wouldn't know, but you're talking to some sort of echoic, nervous, rigor mortis function within it.
Okay.
But
I thought it had tried to fool us that it was dead. Now that but it is actually dead. Anyway, so yeah, I used the power barter, and the power I rolled randomly is pause.
Great. You now have the power pause, and it cannot use the power pause. Which this nervous system function you're interacting with would have used. You can choose to wait and describe pause. You may not even use it. I don't know, but
we'll see.
You just know how it works now. I don't know. You know how that feels. Right. I guess it's like the Matrix, like downloading Kung Fu into your brain. Like you just have this ability, and you're like, wow.
For now.
Sarah, it is Pistilla's initiative. Oh, Sarah, can you
All
hear?
right.
Oh.
Yeah, we are going to roll the Bernie stick dice again. Hey. Hello? I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. There might just be a slight delay. So just checking.
Yeah. So, I guess if there's still maggots to wound, we're going to roll the Bernie stick die to see if it breaks or not. Wait, why am I rolling the bad die? I need to roll the good d6. Because the will ones giving me like nothing good. All right, and that's a 6. See, this is why you roll the good die. So yeah, and then I can do a combat roll to see whether I hit, whether I even hit this maggot, whichever maggot it is.
It's just the one. It's got a hole in it. It's the only
Just
one
the
left
one.
near you, and it is gonna die if you hit it.
That's a 6. That's
Nice.
a 6. I think that's enough. That's just enough.
That is just enough. You smack that. I don't know if you like hockey stick, like smack it into the ceiling. It's real zapped. It's like bug zap.
I think it'd be really funny if like basically she like has the birdie stick kind of like above her head and just like bonk. It is, and the maggot just kind of like crumples.
Fries.
Yeah, right. It's like
little.
It's like over microwaving eggs. It's just gross. So you're all. So actually, yeah, you're all healed, right? You're all like not burning. You're all together. The 3 maggots are dead. I'm going to read a little descriptive text. There's also something you would notice at this point, which is further, inside a bit. So it's sort of a weird terrain because there's this massive yellow tongue-like analog, and there's these teeth kind of shut around behind you, but there's sort of just ones poking out also. And then further on, the gullet, we'll call it, just goes down and down into darkness. And you would notice that a little bit ahead of you, there are some human corpses. They look like recently dead Darasan farmers. maybe there's a traveling gelasti. You know, there was a storyteller or a tinkerer with them. But there's 6 or so dead humans, and they have all their stuff. It's just sort of half melted in acid, but some of it looks fine. And they're in the darkness. You know, it is now fully dark, other than running lights on your suits. If you have your Enviro suits, you know, they have little sort of Christmas tree LEDs. And you may have other sources of glowing depending on your anatomy and your interest in that kind of thing. Yeah, I guess let me just read one quick piece from the venture, and then I'll ask what you want to do about the whole situation. A castle tall and twice as wide, the maw is a putrid chasm of hanging viscera and rows of massive jagged teeth. What light made it through the fog has been swallowed whole inside. The pungent odor of a dead god greets the new visitors. And a massive yellow tongue fills the floor of the maw, rotted out holes full of glowing bile. So there's some glowing from the floor. And the eggs of those maggots provide an ugly yellow light. And, you know, as I said, as you look further and further back, you can see that this sort of twisted cavern of the gullet just extends on and on. So what do you want to do next?
I want to try a bite of the maggot egg.
Okay. What species? Remind us, you're a wetan, right? You could pretty
That's
much
right,
suggest
wetan.
anything. Great. Go for it. Roll will to resist world to see if you like it.
Okay. I got a 4.
It's okay. It's not going to kill you. I don't. It may just be like your, you know, what is your interest in like really funky egg dishes? There are those IRL.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for Heavy Kelp Director, it's kind of like, yeah, take it or leave it. I can imagine someone who would like this a lot, but this is fine.
Oh, right. And I'm sorry, we did add this. I think this was actually at Vex's suggestion. You can also roll that many d4s, so you can roll 4d4, and for every result of 4, you regain 1 point of cool. So this is literally you're metabolizing it like by eating roots.
I got 0 4s.
So yeah, like I said, take it or leave it. It's not gonna kill you. Anyone want to do any other sort of exploring movement, yelling in the darkness in this cavern?
I want to see if I can find and possibly free Mimosa, or at least figure out where they've gone.
Good call. I guess, how do you propose, how would you like to do that? Is there a specific way by which you'd like to do it, or just like roll reason, taking a guess?
If I can't see them, I'm going to try to roll Rhea to see if I can figure out, like, oh, that's where they might have gone.
Right.
Because this looks like what was on the feed.
Okay. Roll reason. This is just some. This is a little.
Yeah.
Little image by Tony from the book.
I love it. This is great.
Yeah, I love this.
Big spiky uvula, delightful.
All right, that's a 9 to find my buddy.
Great. There is a signal on your. You have your comm, and it is pinging, a specific location, like ahead and down through the gullet.
I relay. Oh, yeah. My boy's down there.
I think this would fit pretty well. I'm trying to reevaluate, like, what is our goal of the mission here. I think it's just like figure out what this thing is and try to shut it down if we can. But also, since we're looking for the thing that's further down, I could use track as a razi power to see if I get any indication of like where the drone went. Presumably, like, this thing took control of it or something like that. So maybe it like took it to a destination that's relevant. So I'd like to track the bot.
Great. You can definitely track it. There are clues, so this is the easiest kind of tracking because you basically know it's further ahead, right? It's not like a total mystery.
Yeah, so I'd burn 3 grit to track the drone. I think I have to roll a reason check. Let's see.
Yep. You just make a reason check, and if you get a 6 or higher, so again, you might want to boost, but if you get a 6 or higher, you know exactly where it is.
Yeah, I'll boost it. D8 plus 3, so 9.
Nice. Okay. So maybe I'm guessing Pistilla showed you some feed or something like that, and Lower you've used your. Do you want to say a little about how you track? Is it like very intuitive? Is it based on like a technique you've learned? Do you have some calculates?
I think Lower, like he has just a background of like foraging in the wilds of Kakadoon, but also is just a scavenger and an explorer, and kind of tries to work out like what's the way through. Like I see a form here. What's the path through? And I mean, I don't think I would know what's different, like what got disturbed by the drone, but like what clues does the drone leave behind in terms of did it drag up against something? Do I smell an exhaust or an electrical like discharge smell?
Right. Yeah, I think you get the sense it was guided by this thing, and because it was touched by a tentacle, there was some melting of the bend, the sort of plastic, the hard substance that makes up the drone, and maybe there's little tiny fragments of that. There's like dripped like black plastic bits that you're finding in the dark, and you can pretty reliably, it's going to go past the dead bodies and down into the gullet, and the gullet you're realizing becomes complex. So it starts as a straight line and then becomes, to use like a pop designation, like a little Jeremy Bearimy in the middle. And you get a sense of that due to the wind, and you can feel on your whiskers like the wind is like spiraling in a certain way. So it's not just like a straight shot in the dark. And maybe you can also sort of hear the vibrations, right? There's like, it's soft, so there's not a lot of sound that you can distinctly make out, and the thing is huge. So the head alone is like, it would take you, it would take you a while to like walk down to the uvula. So you're not really sure how big it is, but it's quite large. And you know that ahead it's going to move around, but you know where the thing is. Like you just know that it's like ahead of you down in the gullet. So you just got to keep going that way.
And I guess the thought is like, if there's some power here, something that we need to know about that's taking control of this drone, then that's probably the way to go. Like we're going towards the source of power, hopefully. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, since you got a good result on track as well, you get a sense that the, like say, there's some lingering vitality to the whole, the ecosystem, as the archivists have called it, that has been able to respond in various ways. And so there's sort of, there's like automatic stuff happening that's like essentially like a biological function. And then there are other things that do not feel the same as it. So, like, to be clear, the maggots are like not part of it in a healthy way. Like they are just like parasites that are growing on its dead body.
Decomposition ecology of the huge corpse.
Yeah. But the neurome of this Cthulhu kit is still doing stuff, and it sort of automatically like grabbed the drone and took it. If that makes sense. So yeah, does anyone want to do anything else in this giant maw cavern, or do you all go ahead down to the darkness?
It was just two things. Are any of the teeth small enough to carry? And I would like to investigate the bodies to see maybe at least to identify, like, if there's any identifying material that we could bring back to like let their next of kin know that they've been consumed by an extra dimensional monster.
Excellent. Could you roll a d4 as you examine these 5 dead human farmers and 1 dead Gelasti tinker? They're all just provincials. They're like ordinary folk who were trying to figure out what was going on with these maggots.
Would it be a Rhea roll to like see like how did they die actually, or what can you learn from that kind of thing?
Yeah, I would say that's reason to do some forensics.
Yeah.
But first, sorry. So Chris, you got a 2?
3.
You find you find probably I would just say write down like yes, you find identifying. It's all written in Thenish. Mm-hmm. So if none of you speaks Thenish, then you have like a journal or something. Maybe it's probably like a little almanac, like a pocket agricultural diary for someone who is noting like the sunrise, the wind conditions, stuff like that, rainfall. But you can definitely identify these people and return if not their bodies, then at least like let people who care about them know what happened. And also, one of them had some useful armor. They had some company-made armor, so they had some modern, like, military-grade armor. And if you want, you can roll a d12, and I'll tell you how good it is, basically.
All right.
And Vex wants to make a smoothie out of these colors. I completely agree. I think a smoothie that, weirdly, although this is supposed to be like a gross out adventure, it's a very beautiful color palette, so it does kind of make me hungry.
That'd be a 5.
5. Okay. You find armor that, if you want, it is, I'm going to say it's DR3, but it will break in D4 uses. So after it absorbs that damage 3 times or D4 times in a row, then it's just like cracked apart. It's already half eaten basically by acid. So it was really nice, like company made armor. It's like a mix of let's say their equivalent like Myco Kevlar and maybe like a piece of high Tefnian bend. So there's like a sort of super strong thin plastic that would be sort of bullet absorbent or whatever.
Does anyone wish to don this?
I've already got armor, so I don't need it.
All right, I'll put it on.
Okay. Cool. And so you've done the right thing with identifying the dead and then looting them. Makes total sense. Mix of ethics and murder hoboism. And I think, Sarah, you wanted to roll to sort of do forensics, right?
But also,
Yeah,
what about
basically,
what
Stilla's
about
in the
those
corner
nice
with one of
teeth?
her lower arms, like her small arms, just like. But she got a 3.
Okay. Hard. I mean, I would, even just because you asked, I'll just say it doesn't really. I mean, maybe you don't do medical. You couldn't do an autopsy like a real doctor in these conditions. But it does look like they were attacked by tentacles and they made it past, and then they were attacked by at least by maggots. It's hard to tell at this point because the bodies have decayed, but they have big, chunks taken out of them. So it seems like sometimes there were a lot of maggots. So I think it seems like you got lucky with only 3. All right.
What about the teeth? Can I get it? Is there a tooth?
Oh yes, great question. There is a tooth. Could you roll a d6?
Also, should I roll the d4 for the number of times the armor will last?
Sure, you can. Yeah, just go ahead and do it, and then you're done with it.
So that's a 4 on the d6.
Okay. You find that there's not really any small teeth, but in looking around, you find a small square tablet that is sort of marble. It's like a really hard, beautiful stone that is carved with intricate runes that are all sort of like very rectilinear. And if you want, you could roll reason to try to see. Like it's not Fiennish, it's not in spin. But you could roll reason to figure out like what's going on here.
Okay.
But yeah, the teeth are huge. They're like car sized. So you can chip some away and take a sample, but you couldn't take a whole one.
Lower's looking a little bit rough. He's kind of like looking around to see if anybody's got any gunch or anything. The burn did a number on him.
I have all sorts of gunch. I will gunch you up big time.
Okay, I
that
don't
was
have.
near 3 on the d12 on the reason roll.
Oh, you're still doing that. Sorry.
So a mere 3 on the reason roll.
Okay. You don't know what's going on with the tablet. You can take it, leave it. I mean, it's not like that. It's heavy, but it's not that big if you want to pocket it.
I'll take it. Okay, so M obviously knows how to properly administer gunch. I do not. What do I do?
So gunch canonically, we've had many discussions about this, has like every imaginable form factor. Mm-hmm. So without like valorizing deleterious drug use, it is whatever you want. I've often thought of it as a patch or like a gum, but really it's up to you. It is a MacGuffin. So gunch is sold. It's made in various street legal versions and official company versions that doctors would have. and you can just give it to someone. In game terms, it's a free action to use, pills or gunch, even though in real life it may be annoying if you're in a spacesuit to like chew some Nicorette, but it's a free action. You just take it.
As a MacGuffin, I'm going to say, in keeping with the vibe, it is an old-timey multi-use syringe of like the enormous chrome variety, and like so you load in a cartridge of gunch and then plunge a way too large bore needle into your flesh and press the plunger.
Very thematic.
Yeah.
What is it? D6.
The rules for gunch. So let me just look this up so I don't misspeak. Gunch is, a synthetic painkiller that affects all biological sapients. One hit of gunch heals D6 health. So you can take however many times. Each time you do it, you have a 1 in 10 chance of becoming addicted, because it is the cheapest drug that everyone in the company uses, but it is very strongly addictive compared to all of the other drugs that the company.
All right, so I'm going to roll a 1d6 at least.
Okay.
1. Maybe I need another hit. Another hit.
All right, cool. I'm loading up another cartridge.
All right, another 1. Good.
Great.
Do I need to roll to become addicted?
Yeah, so you'd roll 2d10, and if either of them is a 1, then you basically have to take it every day. So this would matter in a campaign. It really doesn't matter in a one-off, which again, it's not promoting or saying anything in particular about drug use of any kind. But.
All right, no ones.
Okay.
I healed 2 points.
You feel a little better. The painkiller is really meant for humans and wetans. It's like they spent a lot of time trying to heal, because 99% of the company is either humans or wetans. So your effects, it just metabolizes differently. It doesn't work as well.
So
right.
How much damage do you currently have?
I could heal like 10 more, but it's up to you. I'm also in a good place now, ish. I've got damage reduction, so I'm good.
Okay. All right.
So do you want to move further on? So I still imagine like it's a pretty big space and you're not that far deep in it.
I might pop out for my short break now, but like lower will just be kind of setting the path in terms of tracking the drone, and it may be off in the peripherals sometimes just to like see, is it this.
Right.
But I'll try to pop back in a few minutes. Okay.
Cool. Thank you, Weston, and we understand. And so lower is still here. Might make combat interesting, but we'll figure that out. All right, you want to move further into the gullet?
Oh yeah, Heavy Kelp Director at least is still very interested in rewards.
I imagine is lower still taking the lead, or is someone else taking the lead? I know Weston just stepped away.
I think maybe Heavy Kelp Director just like sort of shares the lead, if possible to walk 2 abreast.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But they're very skinny too, so.
You move forward and down, and it becomes kind of swampier in a gross way. Without going into it's just like you're in the dark for the most part. There's kind of pools of glowing yellow liquid. You're probably avoiding those. There's definitely, you realize if you disturb them, you'll attract attention from the life that is spawning here. And toward the back, as you move, you see like that it's going to go down into a bit of a slidey situation. And there's a particularly large glowing kind of pond of yellow liquid with just a lot of the eggs of these things. And it looks like there's something under the eggs, like they've been sort of deposited on top of something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of in the way also, I should say, as you're going down.
I'm gonna
Yep. Good.
I'm gonna I think Pistilla is tentatively maybe gonna try something risky and kind of like sharing leader. Yeah, being leaderful. It's called being leaderful, Hex. I think what Pistilla is gonna do is she's gonna take her Bernie stick and just like, it's off. It's not gonna make soup, but she's going to stick it in the soup and try to gently move some of the weird eggs off of whatever this thing is to get a better look at it?
Perfect. Roll will to perceive as you gently like move these. So they're like duck eggs, but kind of like thinner and like leatherier, and maybe like pulsators, like Venus. And you like are kind of gently like getting them off the thing. And the thing, as you do it, you see is like a round black ball. That
I'm just gonna burn 4 grit because wait, what's the thing like burn 3 for 3 or whatever?
it's you can burn 3, 6, or 9 grit, those numbers
3,
specifically,
6,
and
or
you get
9.
a +3 or a +6 or a +9 to any roll at any point, except to recover grit. Obviously, that wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, of course. So then I'm just gonna burn 3 grit just because I want to at least pass 1 will roll. That would be nice. And I got 6. I didn't even need it. Great. Love that. So
So two things. So I think
like
it's
a 9 total.
your distributed sensorium. You know, as a plant, you're feeling things. You're seeing in different colors that your chromatophores pick up. You're feeling vibrations, whatever's happening. You see 2 things at once. So I'll describe them in turn, but they're both happening at the same time. One is the eggs are deposited they're like trying to completely cover a round black ball that at first you think is like a smooth, very smooth, like, you know, almost like a bowling ball, but made out of some precious like black, you know, like obsidian. But then you realize it isn't. It's actually like liquid. Like it's both acting like a solid, like stuff's on top of it, but it looks kind of like it's almost like the way fire moves. And it's always kind of returning to perfect sphericality. And it is perfectly spherical and solid at the same time that it is definitely 100% a liquid or a fluid of some kind of gas. And so I will describe it as solid black fire. And at the same time, you're like, that's cool and weird. It's like beach ball size, pretty big. Right above you, there is a human-sized thing that I will describe as a terrifying insectoid horror that is diving down at you. But because you got a 9, you were not ambushed, and I'll just say you guys get a round of initiative before because you got a 9. So this thing, it is sort of almost the size of a human, but it's more, you know, usually it's compact, and it has very razory claws. And it's coming right onto Pistilla. Once again, Pistilla, the target of the insectoid horrors in this postmortem ecosystem.
Bugs hate me.
So everyone can roll to do whatever you want. I realize Weston isn't here. We'll just hope you kill it without Weston's help.
Yep. All right, then.
So initiative for starters, or
No, you all get a free round, and then we'll worry about initiative if it's alive.
so
Or yeah, you want to talk to it? Try talking to it. Do whatever you want. Let's just go around. You know, Sarah, do you want to start us off, or do you want somebody else to act first?
she's frozen.
Oh no!
Why don't I just jump in and use pause?
Great. Tell us
get
what
after it.
pause is, and tell
Yep.
us the cost, and it happens.
I foolishly scrolled away in the core book. Pause. Burn 3 grit. You envelope a target whom you can see in scintillating solid quantum foam, preventing it from moving or acting for 1 minute. While paused, the target is impervious to harm, cannot be moved, and is immune to all effects.
Great. So for 1 minute, so you would just make it completely immobile.
Mhm.
And you don't need to roll, right? You just burn the grit, and it happens.
Correct.
Awesome. It is like on top of Pistilla, but also it is frozen. And at this point, Sarah, can you hear us? Okay.
Huh?
Can you hear us? Yes, I'll take that as a yes.
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry, there's like some weird delay.
Mhm.
But
It's okay. It's the internet.
yeah, it's better now.
All right. So this thing, which we will call, for sake of giving it a name we can use more rapidly, a rot fly. This rot fly is frozen in time space. It is unable to move. It is alive, but just stuck on top of Pistilla, but like not actually touching her. And at this point, the ball, the orb, is talking to Pistilla and through Pistilla to everyone else. So once again, Pistilla, you hear it in the plant version of Macho Man Randy Savage in your head.
Also, like, if this keeps happening to me, I'm also cool with, like, if you put it in private chat, I can just do it.
Oh, that would be awesome. Sure, you want to do that? That's fun.
Yeah.
Great. Let me just private chat you some text from the actual venture.
Okay, I mean, well done. It's a wonder you mortal weaklings can do anything worthwhile. I am Ammu, the devourer of stars. Welcome to my corpse. Shit, did I do that again?
No, you're good. Oh, missing.
No, that's Pistilla in character.
Oh, got it.
It happened again, didn't it?
No, you're good. We can hear you.
Oh wait, there's more. Oh no, there is no reward for finding my corpse. I do, however, have a proposition to make. See, a century or two after I fell, flies began eating at my heart. I didn't mind much at first. At that time, I was still planning on regaining my strength and leaving, well, wherever I am now. But clearly, I have not left, and now the flies are quite large. Centuries of the pests breeding and feasting has prevented me from enacting the next stages of my grand evil plot. Surviving. So, seeing as how you're now stuck here now, and I know the only safe way out, you will take care of them. Won't you?
And at this point, you would also, and if we did more like roles and powers and stuff, you would get the sense that this being is a Cthulhu that has, while it may or may not have a natural life cycle, it is effectively dead. But because these things, they can't really die. So it is both like dead in a certain sense that makes a kind of biological analogy, metaphor sense in 3 space. But it is also an extra dimensional horror that is kind of bigger than normal time. And so it is also kind of still alive, if that makes sense. But it is effectively biologically, it is dead. And you are talking to kind of a ghost, thing left over, like a nervous function left over that I like that Tony is imagined as this kind of ball of black fire that is solid, that is very sort of interested in you and you helping out what is left of its body for reasons that it thinks it can it can do something with this. It has a chance, right? If you clear out all the rot.
Right. What is a Cthulhu kit if not an optimist?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much, right? They're just it's bad.
I also feel like though our goals align here, right? We get it off the planet if it is alive again and can leave, right?
Exactly.
I think what Pistilla is gonna do I don't know if the thing is still frozen in time, but if it still is, she's gonna try to just swing the Bernie stick up in the on position and just toast that fly.
Great.
Well, alive.
Sorry, go ahead.
It is invulnerable at the moment, as long as it is paused.
Wait, so that's an important question. Invulnerable how?
The text says impervious to harm, cannot be moved, and is immune to all effects.
Oh wait, so I can't burn it?
Escheresque.
I just thought it was
all effects.
Okay.
So I actually can't burn it.
Right, not while it's paused, but you could just all have your weapons out, and as soon as it's unpaused, you would presumably have the jump on it. Because
I could just have it touch the thing in the on position, basically, or like touch. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you
that's the
could be
mood.
waiting for it, right?
Yeah.
Great. So also at that point, so I will, in the interest of time, I think you all surround it and get ready, and you mess this thing up as soon as it is unpaused. So it's sort of flying. It's freaking out. It is. It does not appear to be sapient. It appears to just be freaking out. And you all, light it on fire, shoot it, and stab it right all at once.
Mm-hmm.
So the rot fly is either dead or dying, and kind of on top of Ammu. And Ammu, the sort of remaining nervous function of this extra dimensional horror that looks kind of like a beach ball of marble that is also fire, is sort of yelling at you all, at its dutiful servants, to like get this thing off it. And it also assumes you're going to take it with you.
Oh, how large is the orb? Is it?
It's the size of a beach ball, and it looked like it would be really heavy, but none of you have actually, I think, physically interacted with it except to knock stuff off of it yet.
It's a beach ball, right?
I mean, it's yelling at you in your mind to just come pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
Does somebody go pick up Ammu?
It's unfortunately the one person who would be most unable to resist that command is not here.
Yeah.
I don't want to volunteer Lower for this task, but honestly, as described, Lower would 100% want to pick up the ball of black fire, but just saying.
Sure.
And Heavy Kelp Director also is very intrigued, just delighted to meet someone, of the stature of Ammu here. But is also a pretty like laid back, doesn't make the first move, and if Lower is also interested, then he has the opportunity to.
Then let's say Lower walks over and the Fex picks up, and this thing is very light. So it looks like it would be heavy, but it is in 3 space. It effectively has no real mass. In some way that makes sense. It still has like inertia, or it's less solidity, and yet it really doesn't weigh anything. And it is sort of like picking up air. And if I guess it'll be up to Weston, if Weston rejoins us, to see if Lower keeps this thing or if one of you takes it. But
sorry about that. Apparently, when y'all started touching the orb, it started messing with my Wi-Fi.
Probably orb stuff in the internet. It's happening. All right, so you have with you Ammu, and you know where the drone is. It's ahead of you, down in the gullet. You can proceed, and you now know that there are maggots and rot flies sort of throughout. So, again, in an extended version, this session might be multiple sessions of like random crawl.
Sure.
I think we're going to do the full thing, but to give you a flavor, those of you who might be interested in some of Odd Gob Games' work, a little oriented toward that kind of play. So Ammu yells, "All right, my mortal steeds, into the gullet, through my heart, we have a swarm to exterminate." But yeah, maybe yells it through Pistilla. I mean, I don't know. Unless that's annoying, Sarah, you can also veto that. That's fine. Do you move forward?
Certainly.
Yeah.
I think at some point, as we're, like when we have downtime, Heavy Kelp Director starts to question Ammu about the rewards we'll be entitled to.
Oh, great! As you move forward, so we'll deal with that as you're walking and talking, and let me know and we can do if anyone else wants to do something like before we do a roll. And it sort of stage whispers into your mind, so it's like, you help me exterminate these horrid pests and allow my body as you would experience it in your dimensionality to recover, and I will allow you all to leave. I'll even throw in otherworldly treasures as incentive to comply.
Now we're talking.
Roll, I would say roll reason.
Yeah, certainly.
you're talking to Ammu in your mind.
I'm gonna boost 3 as well. I rolled my maximum, an 8.
Great.
So
I'm gonna say that you Ammu likes you and is talking to you more, and you get the sense that Ammu is like one lymphocyte. Like
sure.
this is like one remaining thing, or like one nerve cell.
Yeah.
And is making wild promises that Ammu cannot. Like Ammu has no physical control over Ammu's corpse. So Ammu really is just a ball of fire that it is useful if you throw it at stuff. I will say that you've reasoned.
Mhm.
It is a sort of Escheresque weapon. But other than that, it is just a thing that is really loud and annoying and can kind of telepathically talk to you, but can't really do too much else.
Frankly, Heavy Kelp Director is delighted by this and intuiting that there's like pretty much no stakes beyond us getting out of here is like, yeah, this is a fun new pet that I can carry around. And, the only cost is that it yells at me and anyone near me.
And it threatens you constantly, do my
Yeah.
bidding or else.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we have such repartee.
Yeah. It's got a real snap into a Slim Jim energy, but yeah, you're talking to like a single cell within. I mean, that gives you a sense of this thing. The thing is miles long, and yeah, exactly, a Chihuahua. It has big Chihuahua energy. Thanks, Vex. Okay, Weston, you are back, and Sarah. It seems like you're having some computer trouble, so we're kind of trading in and out players due to the internets again.
Oh, sorry.
This is what you get. No, when you have an orb adventure, you get orb connectivity. So we used to blame Discord. Now I don't know what to blame, but welcome back.
I think it was still Discord's fault. Discord messed up this because when I went to Discord, that's when mine went out originally.
Oh, got it. Weston, your character lower has a ball of like solid black fire that is weightless. That is an Escheresque lymphocyte.
Great, fantastic.
Calls itself.
I know what to do with that.
The last remaining piece of sentience of this thing that we're walking through.
I found it, guys.
Sarah found it, but yeah, you took it.
Okay.
Or it found Sarah. Or Pistilla, I mean.
Sure. It found Pistilla, but lower.
Yeah.
We reasoned that when it demanded to be picked up, that lower would not be able to resist picking it up.
It promised loot. So.
Is there a way I could just like tuck it in the like the back part of the helmet part of the exosuit or something to just like backpack it or?
Yes, but roll any die and let me know if it's an even or odd result.
All right. Even.
Okay, then you feel great.
Oh,
Fantastic.
feel great.
This is mine now.
Excellent. You're wearing it like a second head, and it is talking to you and having a different conversation with Pistilla and a different conversation with Heavy Kelp Director.
Hey, I'm sorry. What happened? At some point, I lost audio. This because I don't know the Wi-Fi. Did you were you all messing with the orb? Is this?
Oh yeah, we're messing with the orb. We're having a great time. The orb.
We've got the orb now. The orb is going with us.
Yeah.
Wait. So what's happened?
Very little. Just chit chat.
Orb antics.
Orb antics. I see.
So you are moving ahead through the gullet, and at this point, it probably makes sense to roll for randomness, right? So before we do that, does anyone want to use any mechanical power or do anything that would affect results of randomness?
Don't know what that means.
Just
have any of those powers.
Just checking if somebody's like, wait, I have my power that lets me blah. This would be the time. Otherwise, so who would like to do the roll? Who's in the front, let's say? Is it lower with the orb? Is it Pistilla being curious? Well, who's doing what? Is it M with the sword?
I think I just got distracted by the orb, so I might have been tied up in a moment.
That's fine. That's
cool. If I don't have to make eye contact with the orb to carry on a conversation, then HKD would walk forward too.
Okay. Ryan, could you roll 3d6?
You got it. 3, a 2, and a 1.
Okay,
6
great.
total.
Perfect. And I will just read some flavor text here. Just beyond the hangy thing at the back of the maw is the sprawling maze of the gullet. A dizzying array of saliva-drenched pathways, pustule-laden corridors, and puddles of half-digested corpses. The only way out, as they say, is through. And as you're sort of seeing the twisty-turny, it is now multiple different branching hallways, and the maggot infestations are all up the walls. And they've eaten away so much Ammu that for the most part they ignore you. And you've learned to just not kick them. And you are moving down through the darkness. Ammu is talking constantly. Ammu is now regaling all of you. Ah, the gullet! I had to make my throat quite the maze. The violet void keeps trying to come back up. I'm not even sure it went down all the way. Damn. And it's just kind of rambling about some incident from hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
You move forward into the darkness. You rolled a 1. Could you roll a d6?
Oh, I dropped it on the ground. It is a 2.
Great. You move down and down into a chamber, and there's a kind of bluish glow along with the yellow. So there's a different liquid, like sheening on top, like oil on water. And it seems as though that basically the further down you're going, it's filling more and more rapidly with liquid. Like you're going to be flooded.
It's a good thing I got my virus suit for this.
Do you want to keep moving forward, or
Is there any other way besides back? Is there sideways?
you can go back? Each time you're going back, you're going to have to roll again for some more potential problems.
Right. I don't really know what to do.
I think we have to keep going.
Well, can we ask Ammu, like, can it do anything with this water or muck?
Ammu observes this pool of bluish liquid on top of the yellow of the sort of just general liquid of the decaying whole ecosystem, and says, there is a knob. You should find a knob. There's a drain. I installed a drain a while back. I'm not sure where it all goes. It was a different part of me.
Sounds easy enough. We should find the knob.
But it's not here.
So you imagine you're in like a cave chamber with water in the bottom.
Yeah.
And further on, you can see the chamber branches, goes down, and you don't really know, if it goes deeper and so it's more underwater or it goes up. There isn't a knob visible, and it's you're within kind of muscle walls of sorts. So there's sort of a mix, of almost like a weird, like art gallery, like twisted, almost like plastic of white and yellow, but lumps of sort of pinkish flesh and orange over, and then eating away at all of it are these sort of yellow-white maggots. And they've produced this liquid, which is rising pretty rapidly as you're standing there deciding.
Can I use will to search for the knob?
Yeah, sorry. How did you want to do that? With what?
I could use a power too if you want.
I mean, I guess I just wanted to root around, try to perceive the presence of the knob.
Oh, sure, yeah. You can essentially dive into the water or walk out, like try to swim out and float ahead.
Yep.
Okay. Roll a movement check.
A movement check, not a will check, not perception.
No. Roll. Well, sure. Roll to perceive. Look, sure.
So which one?
You could roll will to perceive first. That'll help you if you make this.
All right.
Yeah, roll to perceive knob.
That's a 3 to perceive knob.
Perceive knob.
It looks like, I don't know, weird. It's like blue Gatorade on top of rancid milk. It's, normal knob pool.
Knob pool. Oh, geez.
Okay. So I guess
Just like every other knob pool I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You want to wait out. Roll movement as soon as you make contact.
All right.
Hey, Ammu. There.
I'm everywhere.
Yeah. Great. There's maggots here.
They're also everywhere. Very annoying.
Yeah, but we see some here. They're annoying. You want me to just help you out here to take them out?
Wait, Chris, what did you get on the roll to move?
3.
3.
Also a 3.
You are you're hip deep in acid before you realize that this is a novel kind. This is a different acidic substance that is eating away at your suit.
Oh no!
So you take you're burning.
Not again.
Pistilla, Ammu would like nothing else. This is exactly what Ammu expects its loyal steeds to do, is kill all of the find the source of and eliminate the parasites. But yeah, this chamber is full of some sort of acid, and it is filling more and more rapidly. And you need to find this drain, or else backtrack and take a completely different direction.
I think I want to use either track or avenge to try to find it. I don't know what's most appropriate. I think avenge takes a long time.
It can, yeah. So we could jump forward, but
I was going to suggest I have a power, open more eyes. Your sight extends to its typical limits. You can now simply choose to ignore obstacles and view what lies behind them. So, I'm going to burn just 3 grit, I think. Gives me 3 minutes.
Look through those maggots
for a knob.
Great. And so, sort of off stage, M is treating themselves with their dental medical training. Meanwhile, the weird, so Heavy Kelp Director, how does it look? I meant to ask, since you're a hell scientist, how does it look when you use the hell science?
Oh, it's a little different every time, but the sort of like orange wriggling worm sort of patterning of their chitin like visibly writhes and glows a little bit, like a lot faster. Like normally if you like stood there and look at them, you could see the like worminess sort of like very slow motion writhing, but it speeds up and glows a little bit, and there's just like little popping, cracking noises in every direction.
Oh, gross. Love it. So imagine that. So Ammu's like talking to Pistilla, and M is treating themselves, and then Heavy Kelp Director is popping and crackling, and you see through everything as much as you want. You see that this chamber is actually, this is the most direct way to the drone. And that essentially there is indeed like down and around the corner and down more, there's like a big mechanical, like essentially a drain, a tap that has been installed at some point. And it has like a big, turning wheel thing. And you can basically get there and release a lot of the bile in this chamber. And you can actually see beyond that. I will say in the next chamber is the source of the problem of this upset stomach. And it looks like a large silver disc that is kind of stuck in the gullet, in the wall of the gullet. And it has been leaking this fluid. And as indigestion and rot has taken place, it's actually getting forced, further kind of inside Ammu's flesh, and it's squeezed out more of this liquid, and it's sort of a horrible thing. You've set off a chain of events just by showing up that's further destabilized this already very unstable transdimensional necro ecosystem. So if you want, you can just take a bunch of damage and swim over and turn off the knob, or rather turn the knob and drain a bunch of this liquid.
Yeah. Sounds good.
I right now, I at least temporarily have extra armor that can reduce the damage if no one else has decent armor that they want to risk.
My it's not my biggest trump card, but I could activate stand and take all my damage in grit until it like is used up. I don't know how far that would get me because I have used a fair bit of grit by now, but
I think maybe save that, and because this is a temporary mechanical benefit of this armor that I took off the dead guy. So
good deal.
So yeah, I'm gonna you'll direct me to where to go, and I will go and turn the knob.
Yeah. Let's check in with Ammu first to make sure that as you get out of sight or underwater or whatever, then Ammu would be able to relay the directions that I give.
Mm-hmm.
Is it willing and capable of doing this?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you're using, you've got Open More Eyes going, and it likes to yell. And while it would rather continue to kind of yell about itself in classic, megalomaniac fashion, it's happy to actually yell something useful. Maybe that's somewhat up to it's sort of speaking with it. Its sensorium is closest to Pistilla's, so it's easier for it to talk to a plant than a robot or a human or a bug. So yeah, it is. You're all you're just gonna dive in, Chris, and Em's just gonna soak that damage.
Yep.
Okay. You're swimming in weird like space car oil. It is melting through you. I'm gonna say make a move check, and that's just for how fast you are.
Hey, Ammu, you seem cool. What's your favorite food?
I am cool. Stars. Stars were my favorite food. I am now, unfortunately, technically not alive in the sense that you are alive in your limited time space.
Hooray! I rolled an 8.
That's fair. What do they taste like? I've never had one.
Plasma. Plasma is delectable. It is very, very hot compared to your ordinary experience of free space.
Like soup.
That is a terrible analogy.
Sorry.
No, it's I don't know. I'm sure it's very like combative, but also like self-congratulatory. It's 4 damage in 1 round to get there, and you have the DR and you can soak that. Yeah, they taste like pizza rolls, right? They taste like really hot pizza rolls.
They burst like pizza rolls.
Yeah.
Great. So 4 damage this round. You turn this knob and you feel there's this drain. So some other aspect of Ammu basically installed a drain when it couldn't remove from its own interior this crashed ship in the chamber beyond that none of you can see other than a Heavy Kelp Director through the twists of this sort of stomach analog area you're in. But the drain allows a bunch of this dangerous liquid that you really shouldn't touch to drain out of there. And you are coated in like this sheen of crap. And if you want to just say, for simplicity, that it just melts through the armor completely, then there's no other damage. You just throw it off. And maybe if you have like a bottle of water, basically, you like try to get it off.
Fully.
I may try to help.
So the company armor is fully done. Is donezo.
Yeah, that way, then there's just no other damage, and it will just say that you've drained this chamber. You're like safe. You're in just normal yellow goo that doesn't have a mechanical effect. It's just like curdled milk.
Fair. That's cool.
Ammu's congratulating itself on having had another part of it when it was alive install that tap after that ship crashed into it. So yeah, the drone is beyond.
So there's nowhere to get. Well, I guess we'll have to check it out. Can we check out to see where this drain? Does it look like? Does the drain go anywhere? Or does it look kind of like a passage more back up and through?
Yeah, there's like a hole. It's like so there's like a fistula in the floor of the chamber you're in that goes straight down, and it would go into the crust of Darasan. And because it's multidimensional, and the part you're in now, like you were in a part that was very clearly on a farm in Darasan, like on the edge of farmland near the Paltrazay. You are now deep in this thing. You've been walking for like a mile or whatever, and you are now possibly like in 3 space, no longer on Darasan. So I don't know where it goes. We could roll randomly. There are tables for that in Stillfleet, but it's not a large hole, and also it wouldn't lead you to the source of. It wouldn't lead you to the drone or the source of the infestation.
And it's not one of those. What are the gates that we tack called?
Stiffworks. It's not. I mean, it is kind of a stiffworks that Ammu made in itself to just get rid of this leaky crap.
But it's not. It's not. Doesn't look like a viable way to like continue.
It's not a useful. It doesn't. It was not made by humans or wetans or whatever to like go somewhere useful. It's just like a hole in the side of a monster that just goes outside of it. So, if you really want to squeeze down there, we can roll for like where you end up. But
more interested in spaceship or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, well the chamber beyond. So Heavy Kelp Director glimpsed a silver craft that's like being brutally squished into the side of basically Ammu's like stomach analog, and that is leaking, and that was leaking out this dangerous liquid that was causing problems initially. Probably was leaking a lot of other stuff over the years slowly, but is now the whole system is like it's like Ammu's collapsing slowly and more rapidly though as you move, and I don't know, it's all kind of going to hell.
Let's find this drone.
Yeah, we should move on.
Yeah, let's find the boy.
Okay. You kind of crawl up and down, and you move around the corner. You're in this chamber in which in the side you can barely see it actually because it's kind of folded into the white and pink tissue. You see a line of silver, and I guess Heavy Kelp Director, I forget Ryan how many minutes it would last, but you know what it looks like. It is a classic saucer shape in the middle there.
Yeah, the power lasts 3 minutes, so presumably, that expired as we, waited for the drain, to clear all of the liquid. But yeah, I would know where to look, I guess, as we come through the passage.
Okay.
And, point it out to everyone.
So Ammu at this point pipes up and maybe Ammu tells like Pistilla to like, very, very weird being inside myself. I don't normally dwell in this part of myself. Please tell everyone everything is fine, and you, my steeds, will clear the infestation. It will be great. And then Ammu tells Heavy Kelp Director,
hey, like this part that's like, you mean here, like where I am, or like not where I am?
It's just the further you go that Ammu is this instantiation essentially of Ammu does not seems to be projecting a false confidence about its ability to help you and control things and know what's happening in its body. And meanwhile, it sort of stage whispers at Heavy Kelp Director, we were in control of the round bird that you sent it like describes basically a drone in really abstract in an abstract way, but control was lost. Control was taken over by something else.
Mm-hmm.
And so it would also kind of know that the drone is sort of ahead.
Was I able to spot the drone? I think you said when I used open more eyes.
No, lower. You've tracked the drone is here, and you're pretty sure the drone's, however you're tracking it, it ends up in that silver thing that's in the wall.
Oh.
Perfect.
Oh dear. My boy, where is my boy gone? I want to roll Maya on that spaceship.
Yeah, how big is it?
And see if I know things.
It's pretty big, and it's hard to see but there are parts where like the sort of muscle analog of the wall. It's almost again, it's sort of architectural, it's sort of biological, it's sort of gross. There's enough gap where like you could maybe get in there even, but it's pretty big. It's bigger than a car. It's not like ultra gigantic. So just imagine you're in a very large like hallway of this kind of smooth quasi tissue, and sort of one side of it is like trying to completely eat or cover up, or be inflamed around this silvery saucer. But what'd you get on the reason check to kind of understand what this is?
Even though Pistilla is kind of a nerd about spaceships, for someone who aspires to be a banshee, she got a 4.
Okay, hard to say, but it could be a number of civilizations. It's hard to say from just some metal. Does anyone want to do anything in particular? I mean, again, so mechanically, Weston, Lower knows that this is where the drone is. And this, I would also say this does not seem to be to Lower or Pistilla or Heavy Kelp Director, or anyone who's inspected. This doesn't seem to relate to the infestation per se. The maggots sort of do not seem to be related to the metal disc in any discernible way.
Right. Is it clear or even relevant if the maggots, like the source of the maggots, were introduced after the death of Ammu or before? Do we know that?
It seems like I think somebody rolled. I think Pistilla rolled really well to like investigate the kind of Escheresque weirdness of Ammu's body before you knew what to call it.
It's a dead Cthulhu kit.
Right. So it seems like it died because of things it was doing unrelated. Yeah. And the reason it is here in Darasan now is because it got infested. One dimension of it got infested by essentially like normal weird parasites. So these are like 3 space parasites from another planet that is not this planet that are messing up this being to the point where it is now it's like falling apart, and thus fell into Darasan when it reached a certain stage of essentially decomposition. And now the only remaining piece of Ammu that can really do anything about it is like one annoying white blood cell.
Yep. Hell yeah. Well, yeah, I think we should investigate the saucer, if only because we could find some good stuff there. And we're not going to find that in the rest of the corpse of Ammu.
I just want to find my boy.
All right. Do you want to go toward it and kind of look around and try to get in there, like see if you can push, get some distance?
I'm willing to like try to find a path and climb up if I have to climb or whatever.
Okay. Do you want to? You tell me. You can roll move to try to like get in there. You can roll will to like try to see what's going around better.
Let's move.
Okay.
Let's move.
And I will share, another cool image from Tony.
Not very good. 3.
Ooh, excellent.
That's a 6.
6. Sarah, what was that to roll for?
6 to move to get in the thingy. The spaceship.
You're in there.
And a 6 from Heavy Kelp Director for the same.
Makes sense. Heavy Kelp Director and Pistilla, from talking to Ammu, you're real excited. Lower, you know what's going on, but you can't quite figure out. You're like annoyed. Chris, what was M doing?
So we're trying to get in the ship or past the ship?
They're going inside. They're trying to see what's in there. They know the drone is in there. There might be something else.
Okay, so the drone is inside the ship? Yeah, I'll just move then.
Okay. And if you go past, you're going toward the infestation. So they're 2 different things from a, again, for time's sake, perspective. All right, so you go in the ship. But you're not all in the ship, which is
4. I rolled a 4.
Okay, so you also, I think M maybe is just kind of too big, or maybe it's a little, again, it's a little hard to know how to, like, you're kind of squeezing up into like a, going inside like a stomach kind of thing. So it's like weird. You find there's a hole in the ship. The ship is damaged, and Pistilla and Heavy Kelp Director in that order like find that hole and are in there, while the other 2 are kind of outside. And essentially, you see inside, there's a lot of systems that are just broken and busted. They all look alien, so they're sort of metal different shapes, beautiful, fluted, sort of like blown glass, but all metal. But everything's kind of been busted up in the crash, and everything has been draining out. There was a lot of what you would guess might be like the energy reservoir or something important that was that blue liquid that is radioactive and is all drained away now, pretty much. And in the center is what looks like a kind of yellow metal sarcophagus that is connected by sort of silvery piping, to the rest of the ship. And it looks pretty undisturbed. It looks like the crack kind of goes halfway through the ship and then kind of stops. So it messed up the outside, it messed up its ability to move, but it didn't seem to touch this kind of sarcophagus. And the drone is sitting on top of the sarcophagus, unharmed.
Interesting. Can I? I'm not sure whether reason or will would be the right role to try to decipher how the drone got to there, like perched on top of the sarcophagus.
Definitely reason, but I mean,
Okay,
you didn't see it, but you can only roll for it.
Yeah,
sure.
so we can only interpret the state of things, and so reason makes sense. Great. On a 10, I rolled 5.
Yeah, you didn't see anything, so
I rolled a reason and I got 10.
Okay.
Same thing.
Then you would guess from the sarcophagus, based on your knowledge, the scant reports in the archive about the species. This is a ship of a technically it's classified as an Escheresque being. You might just call them an alien called a Thurn. And the Thurn are thought to be extinct, at least as far as the archive knows. But they have encountered Thurn artifacts. So the sarcophagus is clearly Thurnish. Not clear if the ship is, doesn't necessarily matter. And you would guess that the Thurn, either the Thurn or an AI that the Thurn created, just took control of the drone because Ammu was not strong enough to do so, really.
This is a Thurn. This is Thurnish. She says, just kind of like pointing to the sarcophagus. Does it look like whatever, like, does the sarcophagus look on or off?
The sarcophagus looks, it's hard to tell, but so you got a 10. It looks on. It looks like it is keeping, it is meant to keep something alive inside, and it is still working, although that may change because now, due to your entering Ammu and Ammu shuffling around a bit as best as it possibly could, the one white blood cell triggering the jaw to snap shut, right? It is now like further digested this thing, and it is running out of energy. Yeah.
Okay.
Did
All
you
right.
find a wealth of that we were promised? Is it
found
there?
I found my boy, but it seems like something isn't right.
So Weston, Ammu is now yelling at you that like you're not ready for that. You're not ready for this. Your descendants may be ready one day, but you are not ready for this thing. Go and clear the infestation so Ammu may regenerate.
Guys, I'm going to clear the infestation.
Yeah, I just need to at least recover the boy.
We can't leave without Mimosa.
Yeah, we can't. So is this thing is Mimosa just like acting weird in the way that like an AI that has taken over my darling drone just like did, or like is Mimosa just off?
Mimosa right now is just seems to be in a waiting state, like it's just been parked here.
Okay, I'm gonna try to like wave, like Pistilla's gonna wave, like, "Hey, it's me. What's up?"
You're just waving at it. Yeah, it whirs on and it regards you as though something else is using it to look at you, and at that point, I think the sarcophagus, the feet of it that you're standing, like you're waving up at it, the sort of feet of it are there. It is vaguely kind of like a reptilian humanoid in shape. It's like a massive sarcophagus of metal. And it sort of has like holographic like lights kind of coming out of its sort of feet, and they are projecting glyphs that you do not understand. The glyphs actually also have more than 3 physical dimensions, so you can only even see part of them. It's like a tesseract thing.
Pistilla's doing another one of her face palms with her tiny hand, with her tiny arm, and she's just like, I don't even have all the dimensions to read that.
What are M and Lower doing? Are you just waiting outside? Like, good luck, guys.
I think we're like, yeah, just trying to maybe keep guard. I also just had a thought like how we learned to write on those like lines with like 2 solid lines and a dotted line in the middle, and then having to write in more dimensions would be having to like write inside of a cube a letter. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, mostly just like keeping an eye. Like Lower's curious, like, oh, are they getting all the good stuff? So a little distracted by what's going on up there and wants to know. But I think the exosuit was just like too clunky to get up, and just like keep an eye and make sure none of the maggots are coming near.
There are more and more of them, and they seem less and less attacky. Just the raw, like the eggs and maggots, they seem like they've fully just taken over. Like, kind of just more and more as you go deep. And it seems like you're getting somewhere. But yeah, your compatriots are inside. So Sarah, does Pistilla want to do anything? Do you want to snatch the drone? Do you want to just back out? What do you think?
I want to try to snatch the drone, and how much would it be to use my jack power on the drone to try to just like to just like sever the connection between the AI and this thing?
Yeah, that's a good use of the power jack, the sort of definitive banshee thing, along with being able to dive. Let me just look at what the drone is in terms of. Disc jockey's 2 code. Yeah, let's call it 2 code. So that would only be what's that? 2 times 3, so 6 grit.
6 grit. That's not bad. Yay!
To regain, yeah, you like have a backdoor or whatever. You reset it to factory settings.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, like I just once it's done, they already pictures and designs. All right, I don't have to like do any like weird rolls or anything. So basically, what Pistilla does is like she just kind of maintains eye contact with the drone, but she like has her hands out, and she just remembers like the drone is positioned a certain way, so I can do both of the little reset indentation buttons at once, and she does, and they like the eyes are like maybe orange or like pick a color associated with this alien, and then
green and gold.
Yeah, gold, and then they just kind of like jack and dive. Yeah, she just like the eyes just turn off and then they turn on again, but they're just like white and like a little do.
Right. Great.
Yeah, like the windows or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, you reboot it. You get control of Mimosa. Mimosa is loyal and doing whatever it normally would do. It is slightly damaged. Like it needs a new like bottom like shell, but other than that, like it flies fine. However, at this time, sort of steam hisses out of some of the pipes as they disconnect, and it seems like the sarcophagus is activating. The glyphs get more complicated and are kind of filling the room. It's like projecting glyphs, which you're only seeing part of, and the sarcophagus seems to be opening. Do you want to stay here or do you want to move? You have control of Mimosa at this point.
Hey, Heavy, what are we going to do about this?
I'm just going to pause the sarcophagus again. When the tool you carry is a hammer, every problem looks like a nail.
Perfect. Do you want to then pause and so burn that grit?
Yeah.
You begin to like make weird
and
popcorn sounds.
Leave.
And then you just leave. Right. So you guys leave. I assume you do a quick catching up with your buddies outside. And
definitely.
Yeah.
Some bad probably, but if we get far enough away, we will have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Ammu says, we should go. We should go. You should go, my steed. I am immortal.
You can't go. You're like not exactly. We can go, but that's because we're less dimensions than you. Anyway, we're going.
If you go forward, the infestation is clearly coming from deeper inside, past the gullet. We are almost at the end of the gullet. You have picked a very expeditious route, no doubt because of my genius. You all move through the gullet and beyond into what it refers to as the heart. This is a metaphor. It's not, it doesn't have a heart per se, but a thing that is central. Behind you, there are going to be sounds. And there is somewhat of a timer. However, because of pause, you have a good head start. I will read the flavor text for the heart. We're also running out of time IRL, but this may be convenient that you've set something in motion. Tears in Ammu's flesh send light tumbling down into a viscera-laden cavity, casting a massive heart-like organ in pale yellow light. Buzzing wings and the clacking of legs echo in the slimy arena as a rotfly swarm tends to the nest it has made. And the organ in front of you that used to do something very vital to Ammu is completely covered in those human-sized fly monsters. And clearly this is the source of everything. I'm assuming you're seeing this from like peeking around the corner as the gullet, like one of the gullet pathways, like enters this vast chamber. So imagine this thing. It's the size of like a small baseball stadium, and it's just full. Imagine a heart, but like a super heart. Like it's got like things come, aortic sort of connections, and it's just very big. And now is very porous. It has a lot of holes, and there are these huge bugs kind of all over it. Behind you. You hear the thumping of something large, like walking towards you.
Oh no.
What do you do?
I have a bomb. That might be what I decide to do.
I
I also have a
bomb.
flashbang. That helps.
Yeah, let's try to find a good place to put a bomb, and if there's like a nest or something, where's a good place to put a bomb?
I think like right in where all those guys, where all of those are.
Mm-hmm. You've got a pretty good move, right? Lower, could you get up there, plant a bomb on the nest? I'll plant a bomb in the passage behind us, and see if I can remote detonate it when whatever is making the noise gets nearby.
Yeah, great.
Also, I can use. I think it might be helpful. I can dive. I can dive if it's needed. I can dive. Just let me know.
Great. So so this is basically just the plot of Ocean's 11, right? Is you're gonna plant a bomb on the horrible giant parasite thing on the heart of the extra-dimensional Cthulhu Kid entity, and then dive out of it before the unknown, terrifying alien behind you finds you, right?
Yeah, I love.
Sounds like a plan.
I love the twist where it turns out no, not the twist. I love the part where like Elliot Gould talks about those weird parasites, and he's just like, those damn bugs.
The presumption here, though, is that this is the vault that has all the good stuff inside that we were promised. So the bomb will open the vault for all the good stuff to come out. So we got to grab some of that before we go.
Right. Okay. Well, let's do it. So what do you do first? This is before the rot flies have seen you, or you've gotten very close. So you have to think about a kind of sneakiness. Also, IRL, we only have 10 minutes. So we may do some hand waving of things that normally, again, in a carefully plotted game over a couple sessions, we would do a lot of rolling, right?
Yeah. Is there at least like do some kind of check to see if there's a good place to put a bomb?
Yeah.
Can
You want to
see it?
You can roll will to just look, or you could use a power if you have one.
Not really. Just roll will.
Okay.
See if there's a good place to put a bomb.
Wait. If we only have a few minutes left and I can burn something, auger.
There
Great.
we go.
Perfect.
Oh, we love
Also,
auger.
What'd you get on that roll, Weston?
6.
Great. There's definitely something that, so this is important. Without being detected, you see something. You see, first of all, a couple of things. I'll give you one for free. There's some larger, they're not beetles, but they don't have wings, and they're more armored versions of the rot flies with bigger kind of orifices, more like the maggots, which seem like another form. And they are guarding the heart as well. And they seem like they would be a lot harder to kill than the rot flies, but they can't fly. And then secondly, they're all guarding like a specific thing that is actually not in the heart. It's like around it. The heart is in the sort of pool of that yellow milky liquid. And it seems like there's something bobbing around in it that's really big. And that's the thing they actually are all kind of attuned to. So you might imagine like a queen.
Let's sneak over there.
Augur. Chris, did you want to use the power augur? One of my faves, personally.
Yes. So let me just roll the d12 to see how much less I pay. Oh boy. Okay. So I'm gonna pay 8 grit and 1 health.
And do you want to tell us how your version of augur works? So it's worked a couple different ways in campaigns I've run. So it can be it can be your super smart memory palace. It can be you have access to like the quantum internet. It can be the ancestors, like you were able to tap into some sort of knowledge. You describe it for us, how you get this answer to the question.
Like
All right,
maybe
so-
your sword talks to you.
Right.
Real quick, emergent behavior in systems of systems is this instantiation of a thing that has lived for millions of years. When it gets bored, it basically dumps the data that it had previously and starts over again. So this version is only a couple of years old, but if I have to, I can work real hard and go back and re-access the old stuff.
I love that.
Dope. Yeah, that's so good.
So it's
So-
like deleted, but not fully. Like there's still files, ghost files there you can manipulate or whatever. I love
Well,
it.
put it
Didn't
as that
properly erase the hard
technically,
drive.
I'm running it as that I'm technically Escheresque. So I'm gonna like some interior part of me is gonna go into the Escheresque to hit up the full emergent behavior library and get that data.
Great. So
So
what
rad.
do you ask the full emergent behavior library?
Um, how do we kill the queen?
Great. I think you would get back some sort of like long, complicated answer that goes into like all the options, because you could probably do a few different things here.
Yeah.
But emergent behavior in systems of systems, prime, let's call it, basically, tells you that it is ultimately, horrible. It is basically a 5-meter tall kind of maggot-like organism with big kind of claws, and it has a bunch of rings of orifices to just chew through whatever, and then little eyes, little simple white eyes studded all over it, that may or may not actually do anything. And it's kind of wriggling around in the soup, and it's depositing eggs that then can become these other case of workers. And this is the thing you need to kill for sure. You could kill it by fighting it, but it's really dangerous, and you all have taken some damage. And behind you is something also really dangerous that really wants to kill whatever is, it was just awoken from, being suspended for who knows how long in Terrasol years. Probably the easiest way to kill it isn't like one normal bomb, but just getting those two things to fight and then running away.
I love to solve a problem by causing a problem.
With another problem, yeah. Problem plus problem equals solution.
Go away now.
Profit.
So yeah, that's what I think we should try and do is like taunt the like nightmarish Escheresque lizard man behind us into this chamber, and then like duck out, like peace out, so that it ends up encountering the most dangerous thing in this chamber, the queen of the rot flies, and then they have a kaiju battle while we book it.
While we sip mimosas.
Sure.
Hey! Oh,
I mean, you
speaking
can
of
sit
my
mimosas.
very good boy, my drone, I can use that as a decoy. I can use it as a decoy, and we can use it as a decoy to lure them to each other, or like lure one of them to each other. I have that as my disposal.
Yeah, maybe that thing wants the drone back, or maybe maybe we can make it seem like the queen sent the drone. This is completely out of character. Not Lower does not think of this. Lower thinks bomb.
Well, my thinking is, do you want to? I know again in a real campaign, if we had time between sessions and you came up with a wacky Ocean's 11 scheme, maybe each of you would play exactly the right part. But since we only have a few minutes, do we just want to go around and everyone describes what part you play in this massive diversion that somehow leads to you all
We
not
could
dying?
also just have like two of us handle the queen and two of us handle the whatever Thurn.
Thurn.
Yeah. So how about this?
I could also pull out all the stops and do two, probably not quite enough to each of them. Hell science powers, but
I'm
I don't
thinking
want to
maybe
hijack everything.
the bomb enrages the queen, the drone taunts the lizard man, and then like the other two remaining of us, like I could help taunt the queen, you could help taunt the lizard man, and then then we book it.
And then Pistilla has the exit strategy.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I have dive.
Then I will describe as the Thurn arrives in the heart chamber, and you all, and then I'll just go around. So I think it makes to end with Sarah give you the last word is diving us out. Whoever's doing the bomb should go first, right? And then I guess Chris and Ryan, you'll be in the middle.
Right.
So the thing that is entering around the corner is taller than a human and much, much, much wider. It is just the most jacked, roided, vaguely lizard-like thing in a sort of gold spacesuit with a sort of bubble helmet, and then it has a bunch of wires and stuff plugged into a bunch of nostrils, and it has sort of big flat teeth and dull eyes that are, you could just tell it is enraged, and it is so much more technologically advanced, and whatever it was doing when it was stuck in this Cthulhu and has just been asleep the whole time, and probably would have died in its sleep, frankly, eventually, as the fuel ran out to keep it alive. It is now horribly enraged and is just going to use clearly a ray gun. It has what looks like kind of like a megaphone, but it is going to emit a beam that will cut through essentially anything it touches and kill it instantly. And it is just stomping towards you, not even running, just kind of coming at you inexorably and slowly raising the megaphone to shoot some of you, whoever's nearest. Meanwhile, however you get the attention of the queen, whenever you get it, I will show you a picture by Tony, and it's terrifying. So why don't we start with Weston?
Yeah.
What happens next?
I think Lower tries to sneak as close as possible to the nest, if trying to get in between some of the guys. Try to plop a bomb down, and then maybe for good measure, it's got a little tiny missile launcher to try to poop up from behind the thing and shoot at the big guy to make it look like it came from where the queen was, and then try to peace out.
Oh, this thing rules.
Ooh.
Yes.
Love it. I love the tactical misdirection there. Chris or Ryan. So this thing jumps out of the milk lake, and also enraged and very large, much larger than you or the Thurn, but not possessing any weaponry. It's just got razor tipped claws all over it, and it is wriggling and screeching.
Yeah. So I'm just running interference for Lower, right? Slicing through rot flies and just making a lane with the Escheresque. I've got an hour and a half left on the sword, so just making a lane to get the bomb in there, and keep them off of us long enough so that he has a shot at enraging this thing.
Love it. Ryan, what is Heavy Kelp Director doing?
Just because I teased it earlier, I'm gonna stand up, activate my stand, and being twice as big as me, sort of made out of the writhing tentacles that sort of not quite tattoo the chitin. Sort of emerges and has a very different personality and is taunting the big lizard guy, making lewd gestures at it, like, "Man." Yeah, just like running interference in that way as well.
Great. And then Sarah, so what I will say is, Sarah, you have the last word to determine what happens to all three of you, because it's definitely shooting, and obviously beams travel the speed of light. Ryan, Chris, Weston, could you all make movement checks? And then Sarah, you tell us how you get everyone out, and the movement checks will determine, are you bringing home comrades or corpses?
While people do movement checks, I have been thinking about this. So basically Mimosa has been the queen lure, or like just something to get the attention of the queen and get her in the fight. And while that's happening, she's talking to Ammu. She's like, "Hey, Ammu, you there? You're everywhere." Yeah, we went over this. Anyway, we're about to take care of the problem, but the infestation's gonna go boom, but we also don't want to go boom. So if you could just what direction, how far? I don't have a lot of time.
Ammu is. I'm gonna roll a d20. Ammu's very intelligent, but very scared.
Wrecking his body.
Obviously, Ammu is saying things like, "I know exactly what to do." Let's see. Ammu got a 3 on a d20. So Ammu's idea is the hole that earlier version of one of me installed. Go to the hole and jump down.
Would Pistilla have any idea where that is?
No, just back run back past the
fistula, the drain fistula.
The drain
and go
fistula.
to the drain and just dive down the drain and hope that you emerge somewhere that's not like the heart of a
middle
black
of a
hole.
star, or in the middle of a dead space,
or like the core of this planet.
Right.
Hope you just emerge in like a field. How did you do on your movement checks? It looks like you got a 9.
Well, I'm gonna burn my remaining 9 grit on this roll.
Yeah, I think
and I have 6 left that I'll burn too.
I think that's what, in the combined effort of everything we did, just burn all of our grit.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Leave it all to Sarah to get us out of here, or Pistilla. So I rolled a 7, plus 6 is 13.
Great.
Yeah, I got an 11 total.
Great.
9 minus 2 plus 6, 13.
13.
Yeah, let's go.
I think it's very Ocean's 11 in a cool way. However you want to imagine it, your favorite action movie franchise. You do some backflips. There's backflips involved. A beam as wide around as your arm shoots through the chamber. It is slicing in half rot flies. M has been slicing in half rot flies. And these two beings are in an epic battle as you all somehow are yanked past or pulled past, or the drone is distracting excellently. Sarah, do you lead the group out using the power dive mechanically to just get them out of this scene?
I used dive. I got a 7 on my roll, and I also burned 9 for 9 grit, so that's like way too successful. And basically what happens is she's just bracing for this moment when they're about to hit, and then she just kind of with all of her, basically she has one arm for everyone in her party and the drone, and she just yoinks. She's definitely practiced this a million times, though she rarely gets to use it. And she just is running. She's booking it towards the drain fistula, and she's running. There's a way to jump through the fistula, but it does, and it looks like wherever it goes is kind of springy, but like she just jumps through the hole and they're all falling, and I don't know where they land.
Great. Well, I think we should end on. I think most of the loot you are unable to get. However, there is you are able to get something, which is one of you. So you know who do you think is most likely to see and grab a small shiny thing? Maybe Ammu even tells you, "It's like, oh look over there," as you're running for your lives.
I'd say it's lower effects.
Yeah.
I was going to vote for myself, but I wasn't going to do it until anybody else did. So
No, it's totally fair.
That's nice.
And besides, I found a mysterious clay tablet, or marble tablet. I'm
There you
good.
go. And I found a new best friend / pet.
Yeah.
Orb of fire.
Oh yeah, I won't tell you what the narrative tablet does in case people want to pick up Ammu, which they should.
Yeah.
But I did want to throw in this one architect because I think it's so cool. So lower, as you run past, you see what looks, as you're running toward it, it looks like a caltrip, it's a D4. It's a D4 in the ground. But as you run toward it, you see that it is also it's like every regular polyhedron at once. So it just is like you kind of first perceived it from one corner of your eye as one, but it is all of them. So it is a sort of omni die. It's all the dice as one die.
It's all the dice.
And it is a very powerful Escheresque architect called the Shifting Die. And if you use it diegetically, you can re-roll the rolls mechanically. And it has a very cool mechanic, which is that if you can choose to lower the type of die that you just rolled and re-roll and with advantage, or you can if you fail a roll. Or if you fail a roll, you can roll twice with disadvantage, right, and take the next die up.
Oh my gosh, this sounds like it make the universe implode if you used it with implode.
It is definitely not something you should try to break or open, but if you use it, it is mechanically very useful. I think that's a very cool idea. So that is something nifty. You just grab, and you all leave. And you emerge into a random vista. Sarah, could you roll? And this will be the end. I know we have to run. So could you roll us a D100, and I'll tell you where you are.
Oh shit. Let me. Let's see.
You could roll 2d10s.
Yeah, I can just do 2d10s. So I'll just do 2 of those. All right, it's a 4 in the 10s. That's a 5 in the 1s. 45.
Okay, great. Now I just have to find the right old file because this is not in anything.
And
for some reason,
as they're leaving, or like she just thinks, "I'm sorry, life has been bad to you."
to Ammu?
I'm sorry, life has been bad. I'm sorry you don't get any more alive days, but it's been nice getting to know you.
Ammu is weirdly touched, although canonically cannot admit it because he's a jerk. But Ammu assures you that Ammu's body will recover and Ammu will once again be the destroyer of stars. And so don't worry. I know that you were worried about it, but Ammu's gonna destroy a lot of stars.
Yeah, so many stars.
So many stars.
So many hot pockets. So many plasma pockets.
Exactly. You emerge in a room. Behind you is a wall of basically what looks like black ink that you fall through. You fall into microgravity. So, and you're not covered in it. It doesn't stick to you. It all goes back to itself. So it kind of is like this cool oil. And you're floating in microgravity. There's a bubble of clear bend in front of you that looks out onto a vista in the void. And the room is very sumptuously decorated. At first, it's almost like all black everything, but you realize it's actually very soft. It's very dark red, and it looks sort of like it's made of like horn. It's like grown, everything in it. So there's like a bunch of cool chairs off to the side. It's all sort of anchored to the wall or the floor, but there is this bubble window. And you are looking out at a planet that looks completely covered in structure. It is it looks like an Earth-sized planet. You are at like a not quite a Lagrange point, but you're in an upper orbit, and you can see all of these vast skyscrapers so large they're many miles tall. And if you look out to either side, you can actually see that you are in a structure that is a very thin ring that goes all the way around the planet. It is artificial, and that it is one of many such rings that go all the way around this planet. And a circular portal opens to your left, and floating through the micro-G is a very small diminutive human who is wearing only black oils, wearing nanites, and they recede and show a small face. And they speak to you in a very mellifluous language that sounds like song. It sounds like strange electronic music. And some of their own nanites translate it, and they find ways into your comms. They've already leaked into your comms and infected them. And you hear over the airwaves. You're probably also you're choking if you're not wearing your helmet, or your helmet is busted. And they say something like, "Oh, hello, travelers. What brings you to the witch planet?"
Hell yeah.
And with that, I think we have to end. But
Go.
you have miraculously survived Ammu and cleansed it of its parasites. However, you have arrived very far from either Darasan or Spindle. At least, Weston, you got a cool dice.
Yeah.
So, thanks so much for playing. Really appreciate you trying this out. I hope that we did justice to the adventure.
Yeah, I had a great time.
Guys.
Thanks, Wythe. Thanks, all.
Thanks, everyone. Check out so Odd Gob Games. Let me post that in the chat. Is really cool. They make a bunch of cool games, and we're hoping to partner with them even more. Especially, obviously we've worked with illustration, and it is it is Lazel's distant cousin.
Right.
And this was specifically Ammu and Eldritch Extermination, which is a one-off venture. It is system neutral, so you can pick it up and run other games. We obviously like Stillfleet, so we're running Stillfleet. And thanks to all our amazing streamers, Chris, Weston, Sarah, and Ryan. And if you want to drop anything in the chat or let me know, I'll put it up on the YouTube if you want to send me links. Thanks, everyone. Have an awesome night. We'll stream some more.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Thank you, Wythe.
Oh, yeah, and we're doing a Kickstarter. Sorry, I didn't drop that link in.
Oh, yeah.
But you probably all have heard me say it. You're going to hear me say it a lot, so, Anyway.
Do the
Thanks, bye.
Kickstarter, you get cool things like this pin, except they have T-shirts, I think, right?
Oh, yeah, and dice. We have dice. We have all the dice now with the symbol. They're handmade porcelain by an artist in Estonia. It's really cool. All right.
So cool. All right.
Actual bye.
Actual bye.
Well, bye.